You're right, Jackie's right.
Are we? Thanks for the attorney. Yeah.
Because we have to have the study to get the
Are
funding.
we're not live streaming already, are we? We are now? We weren't earlier, right?
No.
Okay.
We're starting.
All right.
Wait till it gets on its rand, then turn it on again.
The Custer County Board of County Commissioners meeting will come to order. Let the record show that it is 9 a.m. on December the 4th. Mr. Commissioner Prince, would you care to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Commissioner, I couldn't decide. Maybe it is Mr. Commissioner.
That's how you address it.
Yeah. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I've had thoughts of asking people if they could remove the comma in the pledge in a public setting, if that would be appropriate or not.
Well, in this room, it's pretty much been done, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm
you've
talking
won
about
me
outside
over.
of this
Thank you.
room.
Yeah.
The comma from one nation, comma under God.
There is
There
no
is a
comma.
comma.
There is no comma.
We just
That's
need
the
to remove
problem.
the pause.
Oh.
We say it
We did.
correctly here. I'm not talking about in this meeting. I'm talking about in other meetings.
But it's
Should go
taken a
one
long
nation
time
under God,
to
indivisible.
convert
Yeah.
this room.
Jackie was the voice in the wilderness for the
Mhm.
first couple of years. But she kept
Turn
saying it
around
right
and
in my
you
ear, and now she's won me over.
Madam Secretary, would you call the roll,
Under God.
please?
Commissioner Flowers.
Present.
Commissioner Kanda.
Here.
Commissioner Prince.
Here.
Attorney Clint Smith.
President.
And Clerk to the Board, Kelly Camper.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Amendments to the agenda? I have none.
None here.
I have an item I'd like to discuss, and I don't know if it'd be here or under commissioner items. I would like to recommend that we discuss and extend an offer for a cleaning lady.
Okay, let's do that under Commissioner items.
That's a new item.
That'd be fine.
Then we're not trying to add something to an agenda without posting notice. Thank you. Anything else, gentlemen? Introduction of our lone audience person this morning. Yes, you're in.
Oh, Jackie Bubis for the Sentinel.
Welcome. Commissioner items. Commissioner Kanda.
Two main things since our last meeting. When was that last?
I know, the
Thursday.
29th, yeah.
Hard to believe. Two big deals. Authority to proceed. Kent Beach is out with the equipment out at the airport. They're breaking ground today if he can get them all started, he said. We hit a real good cold snap. I think it was about 6 degrees. And that'll be the only thing that delays a full day. He's confident in making the 3-week criteria that we've got him under, and will allow for weather as it comes up. Talked to Donna Hobby about the way to handle the payments to him so that we do the right thing legally, and we can actually, and I'll talk to Ken about it, slide it into paying next year and billing for it and receiving the money next year if it gets too dicey to bet on it, depending on weather and equipment. Also working with Cheryl Trent on the strategic plan. We're going to try not to have study like we've had in other things, other areas. It's coming along real well. The comments have been a lot of people responded with some good suggestions on the survey. It's important, and I'll put this out. We're going to try to advertise several times and buy some ads, and we'll talk about that in another meeting. I'll allocate a few development dollars to buy some ads for it, I think.
If I can ask a question, sir. I noticed that it is on the survey is already on
Yes.
the county website, so we're pretty well set with that
Almost,
survey.
yes. And there's and we considered there's a couple people that want to add a couple changes possibly, and we'll consider them. It will not affect. Remember, this is not a statistically important survey. It is an opinion survey,
Right.
so that we get the ideas from all of the county on their backgrounds and what they think is important, so that we can have that good discussion with the task force, and that's where they'll be made. So that's one of the things I want to also point out. We need to get stuff into the businesses, hard copies of the final survey. And if we do update the questions over the next couple of days, that'll change one or two minor points in the opinion poll. so that's not a big deal, according to our expert.
Right.
And so that should be finalized. You can go to the website now and fill out the survey. I sure would like everybody to fill it out.
So it's up and running?
It's up and running.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that.
And it will be put on Facebook and other media today, tomorrow. She'll be doing that this week. So take the opinion poll. It doesn't take long. And then the good news about that too is if we can possibly fill them out, hard copies in the stores or in the restaurants, and get them done, we'll try to get a box there to return them. Then we were talking about different options to deal with that. Okay, and tonight we have the CenturyLink and DOT meeting. This is it's open for discussion. It's just a workshop basically, where the DOT hasn't been engaged physically, and that's the discussion we'll have with all three of us there, if we can make all three of us there. We're hosting the meeting for the DOT. The Forest Service will be there, and so will CenturyLink. I think there's probably going to be one or two people from CenturyLink is all, to discuss the options that the DOT sees reasonable, and then we will have a all full out blown meeting. We'll schedule as a result of that with all the team players, including DOT, DOLA, Senator Gardner's office, the people of Wetmore, etc. There will be a representative from Wetmore there. Adam Rice will be there.
And that's down at
That's
Wetmore
tonight.
at what time?
3 o'clock, 3 to 5. I'm gonna hold everybody tight to that schedule.
Who's gonna make it?
Bob is gonna be. Bob Pfeiffer is doing this on another mission that he's got to be down in Pueblo anyway, so we need to get him. We'll try to get everything finished by 5. Everybody out there. Should be easy. We'll see. That's all I have for now.
Okay. Commissioner Prince?
Thank you. Since the last meeting, all three of us went to Denver to
All right,
request the grant from non-funded courthouse. I thought it went extremely well. I compliment both you, Mr. Chairman, and Brenda for excellent presentation.
it's a great presentation.
Put together.
Thank you.
I think it was very well received. Also, I thought it was wonderful that the sheriff and both of the judges in our county were up there pitching for us. I walked away from it very, very helpful.
Good.
I also, let's see, yesterday we went to the I don't know what it was. Affordable housing meeting by the people who are doing the study. It obviously needs to be refined real well and better defined, and the results are going to need to be better tailored for the needs that I feel that we're asking them to give us. So we have some more work on that. I'd like to recommend to fellow commissioners, we have only one applicant for a part-time cleaning person. Her name is Stephanie. Unfortunately, I don't know her last name. It would be a part-time position. My recommendation is, since we only have one applicant, she's already been vetted, fingerprinted, and Ms. Hobby feels that she meets all the criteria that we're looking for. I would like to authorize Donna to go ahead and make an offer to this lady to start ASAP. I don't think it's really fair for our county employees to be saddled with including all their other duties, to worry about their garbage and stuff. In the interim, I appreciate everybody pitching in, but I don't want this to just linger on until it gets around to it.
How many hours?
Well, and that's the question I was about to bring up. Two questions I'd like to bring up to both of you for a discussion. How many hours and what pay scale? I spoke to Donna Hobby about it, and she felt the starting pay of $14 an hour seems reasonable. She's thinking in terms of, for example, our dispatchers, that's about where they are. And then we could look at it at the end of 6 months.
How many hours a week?
And that's the next question we're gonna ask. We don't have an answer to that because the position was not a part-time position before. We've cut it down from one person doing it all. So my thought would be, I'll open the discussion with a half-time person, 20 hours a week as opposed to 40, and see what you guys
Help
think about
that
that.
discussion out. how will that impact the maintenance side? Would that be a
Totally-
3/4 hour,
totally
or is it gonna, I know it is, but
Uh-huh.
we're talking, we had one guy doing both jobs
Right.
before. So it's gonna make a difference on the budget somehow, it depends on what we pay the maintenance guy too later, so.
Right.
But we're looking at a maintenance position, probably full-time, is that what you?
No.
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 Okay, so it would be a
No.
half-time,
Yeah,
okay,
we
good.
were looking at
Okay, that's
two
all I
halftime,
wanted to know.
2 halftime jobs, or, I mean, if you guys decide we do a 2/3, 1/3 job, I mean,
Okay,
to me, it would make sense, let's start with 50-50 maintenance and janitorial, and then
okay.
take a look at it after a while and say, you know, we're gonna need to adjust here, bless you. And, so that was just, it's a thought I'm throwing out for discussion purposes.
And you've looked at all the candidates?
Well,
Candidate.
there's only one I'm not recommending the maintenance person. Because we have 2 candidates, both are qualified, so we're going to actually interview both of them
For the custodian?
for the custodial position. The maintenance position.
Oh.
The custodial position is this lady named Stephanie, only candidate we have. She seems to meet all the criteria we're looking for. Donna's comfortable with her. I don't know her. But I would feel since we only have one candidate, I don't see the reason to go through a whole interview process if she vetted out okay and Donna's happy. I would say the 3 of us decide how many hours and what pay, and let's make an offer, and let's get this person here
Okay,
ASAP.
and one last thing, and then
Certainly.
just for the record, I know the position announcement closed on the 27th. I did have somebody ask me yesterday if they could apply, and I said, I talked to Donna, that was the recommendation Tom had, to see where it is, and she said, well, they're closed, so there is a person out there, so I'm just making sure everybody knows that's not available for that
Yeah.
person.
Okay.
So,
That's
Not
good.
what Donna said, that the
Position announcement was
closed.
in, it closed on the 27th of
Okay.
November, and now we only had one applicant
Okay.
at that time.
so my
Unless we wanted
feeling
to
is
open
I'd
it.
like to recommend to both of you that we start the janitorial person at $14 an hour, half-time, and Donna and this person can work out when that half-time is, 20 hours a week.
That's what I asked, is halftime 20 or is it 15?
Well,
Yeah, and
that's a good question.
yeah, that's what I've been sitting here thinking about. Halftime, if we say it's 20 hours a week, that's 4 hours a day to clean this courthouse.
Is that sufficient, or is that
Oh, I
too
think
much?
it's too much. Now, if that included search and rescue, going down to the airport, which we haven't had that discussion, and I doubt
Periodic.
you guys had that either. Ed was cleaning the courthouse, or the airport every 2 weeks, and search and rescue every 2 weeks.
And I think that needs to remain as part of that person's duties. That is a county function, and it probably doesn't need to be as cleaned as often as, for example, the clerk's office. They don't generate the same amount of refuse.
Right.
Was Ed 30 hours?
No, he was full, well, he was full time.
I know, was that 30 hours?
Well,
Who knows?
no,
He
was
was
40-hour week,
He was
but
on a
he was-
40-hour week, right?
he was maintenance and
I get
custodian,
it.
so
Yeah.
So,
can't.
so what I'm trying to do, I think maintenance would take more time personally in the long run.
Depends on the
Maybe not,
time.
depends
Yeah.
on it.
In the summer,
So-
maybe, but
I like the halftime part. Maybe it's halftime of 30 hours, maybe for the custodian
Well-
to start with until they see.
technically,
That's
to
just
me,
not-
halftime is 20 hours, because full-time's 40.
That's the way
So
I
it's
feel.
either part-time or halftime. I just,
But don't we have
Personally-
40, don't we have 30-hour full-time employees?
it's gotta be 32 hours to be full.
30, oh, okay.
Ed was full.
I was being generic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
All right, be
my
specific.
recommendation would be 20 hours a week for the the cleaning person. We'll come back once we talk to this folks,
Right.
the 2 gentlemen who are interested in the maintenance
I'm not worried
position.
about maintenance.
So let's just talk about the janitorial. I would suspect if we hired them at 20 hours a week, including the auxiliary sites, we could truly expect them to do a bang-up job and say, we feel you have sufficient time to do these things, that if there's a complaint that the floors are sticky in the clerk's office and they're not being mopped properly, I'm not picking on the clerk, of course, but I mean, we could say to this person, you have enough hours to do this, you need to get your job done right, if that becomes an issue.
I know we asked Dave to do this, do we need to see the resume, Tom, before we vote on whether?
I don't, I was
We're
comfortable
gonna
with
trust the,
those
we're
guys.
gonna trust the commissioner from district.
Yeah, I mean, you guys trusted me and look what happened, so.
Yeah, that, yeah, I know.
But we're doing it.
Yeah, we're gonna do
I
it.
thought that'd be great.
Yeah, I
It's
did
not
too.
Okay, I
like-
move
it's not
we
like we have
accept
a-
your recommendation
If we had a
and hire.
choice of multiple people, that would feel much differently.
And I,
We have
well,
one qualified candidate
and if it,
and no one
and if it
else.
blows out, we can always we can discontinue at some point. So I'm good with moving to accept your recommendation to hire your interviewee at 20 hours a week to start off at $14 an hour.
Okay.
So if there's a second, I got one other thing for discussion.
I'll second it, go discuss.
Been moved and seconded to offer a position for the custodial at 20 hours a week, $14 an hour. Discussion?
Okay, so if that's the case, to include auxiliary buildings, and to me, that's everything. That would be the VA building, EMS, the sheriff.
No, not sheriff.
We're trying to get it all clean.
So it'll be VSO, search and rescue, airport, and the county building.
Yes.
And the airport, okay. And then, I would also wanna make sure we take a look at, cause I was with our initial discussion, I think that may be too many hours until we see how it works, that we, be able to change those hours, as needed to make it equitable.
I think we probably ought to, I'll ask Donna to include that in the offer, that the hours are subject to be adjusted
Right.
based
So
upon
that there's no
the
surprise.
workload
Right.
and the, okay. I'll ask you to make that part
That'd
of
be
the
too
offer.
expensive.
So,
And what did you add? Airport?
VSO.
VSO, search and
Search
Search
rescue.
and rescue, SAR.
VSO typically Ed was cleaning that once a week, and search and rescue and the airport was twice a month.
Did it go to Wetmore?
No,
He did,
Did
but
he go-
not routine cleaning. He went down there more for maintenance.
Did he go down for Rusty's hole?
No, nobody goes down.
we're afraid to go in there, talk to the police.
Yeah, I agree. I believe 20 hours is going to be more than sufficient, but I'm willing to support this motion as long as Donna indicates to that person that it's subject to change. Yeah.
Okay.
And would you touch base with her again about the 3 auxiliary buildings and the frequency?
I'm gonna go talk to you as soon as we're done with it and lay it out.
Because I think they get enough foot traffic. My gosh, yesterday that parking lot for VSO was full all day long. So
Well,
I think once a week
And
is.
if VSO needs more than once a week, I mean, this
They're
person
gonna have to
is-
adjust
Yeah,
to the need.
I mean,
Yeah,
the coverage could change within that 20 hours.
correct.
We could say instead of once a week, we need you over there 3 times a week, we need to make it fit, so, yeah.
That kind of
Further
depends on the
discussion?
weather too.
Yeah, that's right,
If you've got mud or.
yeah. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of authorizing Mrs. Hobby to extend the contract offer for,
Not a contract,
sorry,
at will
it's
employee.
an at-will employee, at-will contract
Thank you.
for custodial, for 20 hours a week, $14 an hour. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
With the caveat.
That'd be great, starting as soon as possible, you said, so we hope maybe Monday or this week. Or
That we don't know, we have to get together with that person,
Okay.
see when they can start.
Now, just another question. Whose job is it to shovel sidewalks, maintenance or custodial?
Chairman,
No, that's multiple.
Who shoveled them this time? Did we ever find
Oh,
out?
I think Mr. Prince is accurate when he said chairman. Yeah, I did yesterday. I don't know, I'm asking in all seriousness, should that be a custodial or should that be a maintenance?
I think it's, personally, it would seem like a maintenance job to me.
It is.
That's how I would feel, but I'm open to any discussion.
No, that's fine, I just wanted to see if we needed to include that in this job description.
I think this job description is inside
Inside.
cleaning and the other is
Okay,
maintenance and outside.
very good. All
So
right,
you still gotta continue to shovel.
And the custodial sort of minor.
it's not gonna
I
snow
move that
anymore.
the chair continue to
Until
be
we
the
have a
shoveler
new-
since he does such a good job shoveling.
Mhm.
Yes.
Before, you can do that before meetings for strategy kinds of things.
Right. And we are working, just as an FYI, we are working diligently to get both of the candidates for the custodial positions, the maintenance position in it. And we're moving forward as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
we're
anything
not
else,
diddling.
sir, in your reports?
No.
Okay, I've got a few things, just go through them quickly. After our last BOCC meeting on the 29th, I met with the staff during the staff report as a representative from the board. I thought we had a pretty good staff report. It talked about various things. I encouraged all of our county employees to get involved and help us with this economic development strategic plan survey. So we had a pretty good discussion about that and the implications of whether or not we get people's input. I mean, that was really the big push there. So had a good staff report. The Christmas party is moving forward. A date has been selected but not confirmed with the host restaurant, so we're waiting on that to find out exactly. I wanted to let you know, if you haven't heard, Cleo Day, a former 2-term commissioner, passed away last Friday. Her service will be in Kansas City this Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Evangelical Free Church on the south side of Highway 50, going in kind of west of Home Depot, on past Home Depot in there. So I would encourage the three of us to attend that if it's at all possible. She certainly gave 8 years of service to this county. So I think it would be nice if we could represent the county there. So I can pursue that address if you guys need it.
I have it.
Do you have
It
it?
was in
that
Oh, it was in
email
that
that I
email?
sent.
Okay.
Oh, it is?
All right.
It's
Good.
right across, Kevin said it's right across from the Abbey.
That's right, the Abbey.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
So on the south side?
Yeah, south side of the highway. So, okay, very good. If we could do that, I think that would be very cool. And obviously her son is a county employee, and I think it would mean a lot to him if we were there. I wanted to publicly thank the Road and Bridge Department for sending over a front-end loader yesterday to plow. I mean, that was great. I know it's like, well, that's what we do, but we appreciate it. It's nice to have
Can
things
I add
done.
one thing to that?
Yes.
Whoever did it also put a line of sand.
Yeah, somebody
out
come
back
by
here.
and sanded it.
And that was really nice. We've never had that before, and I don't know how many people have
This
busted
time she
their
did not
butt.
sit on the ground.
I did not. I stood upright all the way across there.
Well, I have to credit Dave Phillips for that.
Okay.
When he's
Yeah,
out
that
and
was
about in
nice.
that plow truck, he tried to come
Yeah,
through.
that was nice. I noticed that when I came back. And I spoke to Sean yesterday morning while he was here and asked him if he could just make a couple swipes down by the sheriff's office, because we failed to do that last time. He was more than happy to do it, so it worked out great. But thank you, appreciate it. Just another quick item, gentlemen. A landowner down in Wetmore came into Jackie's office requesting an extension, a 1-year extension on a building permit. She had granted him a 6-month extension and for free, no charge, and then had also granted a 2-year extension, and he paid for that extension on building the house in Wetmore.
That was 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, and so he came in yesterday and visited with me a little bit. Jackie had instructed him, hey, if you want anything different than what is normally on the docket for you next, you probably need to talk to the commissioners. He came in and wanted to know if he needed to get on the agenda, so I had a conversation with him, and subsequently this morning talked to Jackie about that. I said, I'll present this to the commissioners, but certainly I'm not gonna make any decisions on their behalf. And we wouldn't probably make a decision without talking to Jackie Hobby in the first place, so.
Has he done anything?
And Jackie, yeah, he's a 2-story house, 2,500 square feet roughly. He's got the bottom floor dried in, and so he asked Jackie if he could get a 1-year extension. And Jackie said, no, we don't have 1-year extensions. I can give you a 6-month extension for no charge, which she already has, or 2-year extensions at 35 cents a square foot. So Jackie said she would be willing to grant him another 6-month extension, no charge, trying to meet him halfway, or pay another 35 cents a square foot and have a 2-year extension. So if it's all right with you gentlemen, I told Jackie if it was by consensus, then I would reach back out to him and give him those 2 options.
The only thing, giving him when's the extension start now?
Yeah, whenever Jackie would
So
officially notify him.
I wonder, so he hasn't got it dried in, it's just,
I can't answer that for sure, whether he's got the bottom floor dried
we're
in.
giving him an extension 3 months from, they're not gonna get much.
No, it would start whenever she.
No, what I mean now, he's not gonna get much done.
No, that's true.
But he's already paid.
But he's requested,
So
sorry.
he's already paid for 2.
Yes, came and went.
Sure, I understand
Yeah,
that,
okay.
the time expired. If he's paid twice, I'm not gonna have a problem giving him an extension at all.
No, not now.
For 6
He'll be-
months.
And
For
then we'll
6
see what he
months.
does,
Right.
and then, because,
Right.
he doesn't have much time to work on it.
Right. Yeah, and he said, hey, Tom, if I need to pay the $980, whatever it is, for another 2-year extension, I'll do it. He said, I'm not gonna need that much time, but he said, that's what we need to do.
Give him a
Look at it. I
chance
said,
to
you know, the nice
see
thing
how
about
the
it is,
spring treats him.
yeah, he was reasonable, he wasn't in here pounding on the table, and so
I don't-
Jackie thought if we can meet him halfway and give him another 6-month extension, no charge, that's up to you guys, or if you wanna hold the line and do
No,
it
it's
2
just-
years.
I'm
Give him
fine with that,
6
he's already
months,
paid
get him
twice
out.
to get the
Right.
same thing done.
Right.
I don't have
Yeah,
a
he paid
problem.
his original permit and then
And then
paid
he
for
paid
another
the
extension.
renewal. I'm not
He's
having a problem
okay.
with this.
All right, well, I'll reach back out to him via phone and let him know,
All
and then
right.
he can get in contact with Jackie. So I think that's probably it for my staff report. So we'll move on. My commissioner report. Attorney items.
Usual stuff, worked with Jackie on a couple of things since our last meeting.
Are you okay?
Pardon?
Are you okay?
Am I okay after meeting with Jackie? I'm used to getting chewed out by women. Anyway, at our last meeting, we had you approved the name change from Rice Road to those 3 different roads. So I prepared a proposed resolution. However, I do have one question on this. If you note the documents that they submitted 2 documents. One was a document where all the property owners signed,
Mm-hmm.
and in that they referred to the roads as Sage Corners, Wildflower Lane, and Valley View Drive.
Right.
But the plat they actually submitted with the names written in didn't have Valley View Drive. It just called it Valley View. So that's how I prepared. Well, that's how I prepared the resolution.
And he
So-
did say that
There's
it
another.
wasn't Drive, it was just Valley View.
Okay, if that's correct, then the resolution is okay the way it stands.
I thought
Mr.
they,
Hendricks?
There's a duplicative name.
and I thought
something.
that's why he wanted to add either road or drive, because there was already a Valley View.
There's a Valley View
That's,
something,
you want me to?
unless it's a
I got it.
Valley View
Can
Lane.
we call him real quick?
I've got it in
JB?
my, I got it in my notes. right
They had it on this map as Valley View Drive.
Okay, the one that was, the one I looked at, that little.
And the little one we got is
Valley View
Valley
Drive
View.
All right.
is what's in the.
If it's Drive, then if Brenda can just put the word Drive in on the resolution.
That needs to be in there.
And if it looks okay otherwise, I recommend that you go ahead and
This
sign
is put
it.
down.
He is at conference.
The motion that was voted on and approved included the words Valley View Drive.
All right, that was well thought out.
So can you redo it, Brenda, to put Valley View Drive in there for the name of that road?
Okay, yes, I can.
I think it appears 2 places.
Okay, so if we vote on this resolution today, we'll vote on it as amended to Valley View Drive, is that correct? On the resolution?
She can have it printed out for
Oh,
your
okay.
signature right away.
Oh, okay.
That's the
That's
only thing that has to be changed.
Okay. Are we prepared to do that? Is that your intent, sir?
That's my recommendation, if you're satisfied with the proposed resolution.
I'll move that we approve resolution 18-27, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County changing the name of certain county roads. I didn't say anything wrong with the
Okay,
resolution.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 18-27, entitled a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County changing the name of certain county roads. Discussion. I found it interesting when I saw this resolution that said of certain county roads versus Rice Road. Was there a reason for that?
I guess because Rice Road is really 3 roads, so I wanted, that's why I made it plural that way, but it could be, change it to Rice Road. And that doesn't change the substance of what you agreed to do.
Right, Rice Road actually was branched into several roads.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, further discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. We will adopt resolution 18-27 has been adopted. And we will sign, let's see, yeah, all 3 of us are signatories on that, so we will get that going. Thank you, sir, for that. Anything else, Counselor?
No, that's all I had for today.
All right, well, thank you for doing that. I believe tomorrow we're on schedule to look at some other resolutions, correct?
There's an ordinance
Or
on
ordinance.
for tomorrow, which is a little bit different procedure.
Okay, yeah.
If you do want to go forward with it, then there's a first reading, which usually I'd read it in its entirety. It's a fairly short one. Our open burning ordinance was pages and pages. That took forever to read that one. This one is short.
Okay, good. Administrative assistant?
I just wanted to speak briefly about, Commissioner Flower and I spoke about it this morning, but the letters that'll go out for the bid for the legal publications that I sent you yesterday. So I added that to tomorrow's agenda because, I frankly forgot. So we need to get it done before the end of December so the 2 newspapers can get their bids in for legal publication, so.
And we'll deal with that at one of our first 2 meetings in January.
I think I have it as on the 31st of December
Oh, okay.
in that letter. I don't know if you had a chance to, because I sent it at the end of the day yesterday.
Yeah, I
I
looked at
thought
it.
that was
That's when we'll open the
decided in
bids.
that
Yeah.
during, when we make all the appointments.
Well, the
and stuff.
procedure
That
is
was the
that the bids are opened in red, but no action is
Right.
taken
Yeah,
on them.
until.
I was thinking about the action of approving it
Right.
Yeah.
in January.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Yeah, so we can act on that tomorrow, correct?
yes.
And you are preparing a new resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
That's it.
Good. Public comment?
Nothing yet.
Would we like to comment on his ringtone?
That's Rusty's stockbroker.
That's right. Okay, we'll move on.
He's gonna lose his place.
Since he
in line.
stepped out to answer the phone, gentlemen, would you concur to move forward with Road and Bridge?
Why not?
Oh, you're
And then
gonna
we'll-
piss him off.
He's coming back.
Well, that's too
Let
bad.
him, if he's coming in, he's.
No, he left. He must not.
Hurry, Rusty.
Hurry,
You almost lost your
hurry.
place in line there.
I was trying to shut it off.
Did you have one foot in the door the whole time? No, sir. Sorry, Mr. Road and Bridge.
You didn't move fast enough.
That's right. Had you been up here,
Everybody
right.
sneak in front of me.
yeah. Rusty, we're gonna sign this document real quick too, so I don't mean to be distracted, but
But he is.
I want you to know.
The official pin.
Doesn't matter.
Same ink.
How are you?
Okay.
Good. Good, good. Yeah. Little chilly. Little chilly. Let me pull up your document.
While we're looking, have you seen an increase in residential uptick since the Oak P-Borough
Yeah.
situation?
Yeah, there's more customers coming, for sure.
Privately.
What's going on with that? Man?
Well, they're having an injunction filed against P-Borough
Right.
to cease.
Page 1.
I do. Sorry. Until their court hearing, which was supposed to be yesterday, and then they postponed it till next Monday. Correct?
I think it's the 8th.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the 8th.
I have it on my.
What is the 8th? Monday?
Looks like it's Saturday. What kind of a deal is that?
Wait, I got it here.
Not the
No, I didn't.
The 9th is Sunday.
Yeah.
Not the 8th.
I was told it was the 10th, or the Monday, but I
It's
don't
probably the 10th.
So anyway, all right.
Anyway, it's delayed. In the meantime, people are delivering their garbage to it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's okay too.
another cat to skin another day, I guess, so, all right, sir, well,
This is through November, and we still have December for 205, 792, so. It's pretty good uptick from last year's total of 182.
wow. Yeah,
So we'll
okay.
do another probably 14 or 15,000 in December.
So 17 could
This
be
is
30,
November.
35,000, huh? Above last year. So is that because of such great management, or?
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't jump on that, that's up to you. Yeah, well, good. What would you contribute that to, really? Increase in business overall, or?
Cardboard.
I just think that there's just that many more people moving in into the county.
Yeah.
Because I can go through those sheets that we have people sign in when they come in, and I can look at those at the end of the day and, know one or two
Not recognized as
out
old.
of 50 people.
Mhm.
Pretty amazing.
Received an email this week from the recycle people, and they said the state recycle average is like 13% of the population participate or something. She said we're above that as a county at 15, almost 16%. Thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I can't find it right now, but
that come from Beth Lynn's.
no.
I didn't see it.
It wasn't. I don't think it was from Joni Liebman, but it might have been. I'm not sure. No big deal. Just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So, what? The only thing you are recycling, as I understand it, is cardboard. At the landfill, or no?
Yeah, cardboard.
Plastic,
No plastic.
glass,
Magazines, glass,
brown and clear.
Metal.
metal, aluminum, paper, plastic bags. We can't do anything with them anymore, so we still take them in our bin out there, and then we just bury them. And that bin's full because there's no way to get rid of them.
So if people wanted to recycle anything, they can bring it to you, just knowing that the plastic's not going to be recycled. Brown glass you would recycle, clear glass, metal,
Tin cans, aluminum,
and of course cardboard.
cardboard,
What are we doing
metal,
about,
aluminum.
what are we doing about electronics, use computers and stuff like that? I know we don't take them. Where are we sending people with those? Because I believe,
Don't dispose them.
I
Or
thought they
Pueblo.
stopped taking them too.
No, they'll take them. I was out there but
I
they
know it's
recommend.
plastic they're not taking.
But the first thing they'll tell you is take them to Pueblo because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
By a bunch.
Okay.
No disposal charges for that.
$35 to haul it down there, and you can take it down and drop it off yourself and pay $5.
Hmm.
Like a plan, thank you.
You do not take electronics.
No.
White goods you do, refrigerators have to
Right.
be drained.
Right.
And
Well, Rusty, that's a good thought just for tag onto that. If there was a reason for you to truck down to Pueblo once in a while with a handful of computers, it might pay for the trip you're going down on because we could charge $20 or whatever it is. And that's $15 profit, pay for some gas if there's a way to handle that without a lot of hassle. So I know it's discouraging to me when I go out there to drop something off and I gotta take it back with me.
No.
Sometimes people
Yeah.
pitch it out and not wanna go, and then they go to Oak because they say, geez, that's too expensive.
Yeah,
Something to think about,
that's a
another
problem.
money raiser.
Electronics and those kind of things, that's a problem.
And they take it down to I don't remember the name of the American whatever it is down there on 4th Street off of 4th on the other side of 96.
Americans too. Or American
Anyway.
Recycling.
Might want to consider that as something later to
Yeah, that
take
might
a
be
hold
a
of, make a
good
buck
idea.
and
If
pay
we
for
had a
something. You're going to go down for a part.
dedicated trailer or
Someplace to put it in,
Sure, get a
shed or something.
Well, or,
You could put that kind of thing in.
or a mobile thing on wheels.
yeah, just a dedicated trailer.
You're not going to get a lot.
Throw it in,
TV or two once in a while. But that would, if you're going down for parts, drop it off.
I wonder if he took a trailer down there full, if you could just run it across the scales.
They do. You can do it in your
You'd
pick.
hate to have to take each piece
No,
out.
they weigh it.
You want me to follow up?
I've been there and done it.
American Recycling?
Yeah, if that's,
You wanna follow up?
That doesn't matter, I can, but I'm just telling you that that's the process, and they will run you over the scale, and you just throw everything out that you want to. All metals, you can throw it in a separate pile, and so something to think about.
yeah,
Make a few bucks. Make people happier too. You have a happier customer leaving the place, knowing he doesn't have to haul everything he wanted to get out.
The only problem would be, as you said, trying to come up with somewhere to put that stuff that you don't have to keep handling it.
right.
It'd be nice to just have a dedicated trailer sitting out
Just a
there.
little
that you
trailer
throw
sitting
in.
there. That's all right.
Even if it was a container that we could pick up and set on a trailer, huh?
Yeah, you can do that. You can get an old U-Haul trailer that somebody's
That'll
thrown
work
away.
too.
Yeah, or an old dumpster, like a,
Yeah,
it would
covered.
have to be a 30-some yard dumpster, but
Doesn't have to be very big.
we might be surprised at how popular
Might
that
get
would be,
popular and all of a
yeah.
sudden.
Yeah,
So,
some of those
but-
$20 a
TVs
pop.
are pretty good size,
Yeah.
we still have the back.
Yeah, the old ones that are finally giving up the ghost.
Right.
Well, I'll snoop around on that and see if we can't come up with something.
And I'm looking out for Jackie not being discouraged
appreciate
at the dump anymore.
Do you take furniture?
Furniture?
Yeah, couches, mattresses,
Yeah.
you charge extra or no?
Mattresses are an extra $5, and couches are 10 or 15, depending on if they got a sleep
Height of it.
Height of it.
or whatever they are.
Good, okay.
Okay, I had
Because
a,
that's just uncompactable things that are taking up landfill space.
so Rusty, I had a citizen, another one of your customers, that talked to you recently about whether that they've been hearing that we're gonna expand develop the pits out there, and all that. Concerned about groundwater, and I told him not to worry, we're monitoring those babies. And, in addition, the new pits will be plastic lined for whatever, 1,000 years from now, those grandkids can worry about what the groundwater effect is. And so, they seemed to pacify him a little bit. Do you recall that conversation with one of the landowners next to you out there?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So,
He has
It
a well
was-
that he wants us to go look at.
yeah, so, and I think he was confused where the monitoring wells are, but I told him the ground flow underneath there, according to the testing we've all seen, goes to the south and down. It's not gonna hit him.
Right.
Did you tell him that?
No, but I haven't talked to him for a while.
That might be a good idea, and just be aware of it.
Good, okay. Anything else, sir?
I
Did you
don't think so.
Did you get your truck yet?
No, they're building it.
Okay.
Secretly going to Idaho or somewhere and picking one up, so.
Just curious if you had
I'm
it.
not in a hurry, just.
Man, when you
Yeah,
first
good.
came to us, it sounded like you were on your, I had tears in my
Well,
eyes,
but they
Rusty.
slowed me down when they started throwing numbers.
Reality set in.
I was crying.
All right, very good, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Come back
Okay.
anytime.
alrighty.
Thanks.
Good news coming with these numbers. It's a good number right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a nice
that's
increase.
Nice.
Okay then.
Thanks
One of
for
the few
Tom's pay
places it
raise.
has increased.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Thank you.
Mr. Gary, good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. Morning, Gary. How are you?
Good to see you.
See you again. Man,
My
your hands
wife-
are colder than.
And I tried to warm him up.
Yeah, what you been doing?
Poor Blitzy.
My wife compliments you every time she drives across Herbert Bridge Road. She just loves that width,
I love
how
driving
much
across it
wider
myself.
but
Yeah, that is
it's
nice.
substantially wider, isn't it, wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
you need to come on down. It's not
10,
that
12
much
feet.
further out of your way,
Mhm.
if any.
Yeah, before the driving surface kind of dropped off and then leveled to the hub guard and then dropped off again. But now it's just kind of a gradual slope. So it's much better.
Yeah, good. Okay.
You still got rails to put on that bridge?
No.
No, they're all,
Look pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah, that part's all in now. Just a little bit of fence work to do.
Yeah. And to that vein, and maybe you were going to talk about that, we were under budget on that project. Do you anticipate us still staying under budget after you finish the fencing? And
Yeah, we're probably 34,000 under budget, and I'm anticipating less than 1,000 from the fencing.
okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's not very much stuff that we
Yeah.
realize, so.
You know, and I just don't think we're tooting our horn near enough on this project coming in under budget, under schedule. If it was the opposite, we would hear about it, you know. And I just don't think we're doing a good enough job of thanking the employees and yourself for making that happen.
It is in my paper.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
under budget, under schedule.
Also, we got a lot of compliments on watering the roads down, keeping the dust down when we had the detour. It was handled really well.
Yeah, you know, the whole thing overall, I mean, I couldn't be more pleased with it.
Yeah.
It worked well. You know, I was a little anxious about, you know, the crane part
Hanging
of
it.
it. Well, and then the transporting it over there and having enough cribbage underneath of it to support it where something didn't fail, you know.
The county spent a few bucks and put just a small square ad in both newspapers going, the Board of County Commissioners commends Road and Bridge for coming in under budget, on time, for an excellent job on the Herbert Bridge. That way the public knows what we did and the employees know that we really cared. I mean, I know you relay that to them, but I mean, it's important for them to know that they did an exemplary job. But I'd like the public to know that too. I mean, maybe we should do this as an ad as opposed to just asking
Yeah, I
the
like
papers to
that
put a little
idea.
blurb
Well, it's a bit of good news.
It is. That's what I'm getting.
Just
at.
put
You
a
know, we're
headline.
always like
Good news!
spending more than we
Right.
thought we were going to, and now it's good to spend
Well, yeah, typically
$30,000
we'll
less.
And oh, by the
grouse about
way-
it when it's over budget and over schedule, and we have an opportunity that it's neither one of those.
Well, and the other good part people lose track of is it allow extra money, and that money gets put into getting your roads. And eventually, a little more chip seal, a little more whatever we're gonna do with it. So that's the good news part.
Somebody asked me if I made you three aware when we transported that over there and craned it into place, and I said, no, I
Don't
don't.
need any more help than you.
Well, I
All you
wasn't
needed us to say,
100%
"Go."
I wasn't 100% confident. I think it was gonna go as planned, so, you know, the less,
You didn't need us watching it tip off of that trailer.
yeah, the less audience I had.
Well, I think we were aware when you were going to do it, but I was out of town anyway, meeting. So
You know, if I'd have known it was gonna go as well as
Yeah,
I'd
we've had-
I didn't invite
Come on, get the papers out there taking pictures.
well, I like your suggestion, Commissioner Prince, and I'll pursue that with consensus of the board. Get something formalized into the papers.
We got nothing to do that.
Because I just think we, you know, all of us would be grousing if it wasn't what it is, and we need to be congratulatory when it does hapen.
Yeah, I wish CDOT would take an example from this.
Yeah, no kidding.
For the money
All we
that
can do is figure out how to spend more money.
they would, yeah, they
Well,
would.
glad we didn't go that route.
Oh, God,
Cost more and got less.
yeah.
What else you got, sir?
We did replace the camera guard that we run in
Oh.
White Eagle right off of Elkhorn. That thing, it was only 15 and a half foot wide, and it carries,
Wow,
that
right.
yeah. So, anyway, we built a camera guard. I priced those things, and to buy one and go get it, it's over $5,000. So, we just built it, and I bought the materials for a little over $2. So, you know, this time of year, it gives our guys something to do in the shop.
Extra to do what was
And you had that on your work plan, but it's actually work completed then, huh?
Yeah,
It's
it's
done.
completed.
Okay.
And then we've got a couple more that probably ought to be replaced. So I bought enough materials to go ahead and build a couple more, and then we'll find a place for them.
You're hauling road base. You're gonna haul some out to Elzingley. Well, I can't remember the county road number. Above me, we had a call. Remember when they were grinding the timber out of there, making chips, and all the road base got pushed out of there in the dust now.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it. Roger took the blade out there and did some work on it.
You can't blade it.
Yeah.
You go out and take a look.
I said
That was they've been real patient out there. Nobody's really beating me up. I've driven that quite a bit. So, it needs it.
It's still, okay, even after we worked on it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'll get out there and look at it today.
It won't stay long. Yeah, take a look.
Okay. Yeah, what we're doing is, you know, when we get snow like this, we have areas in the open where it gets melted off pretty quick. That's where we try and haul, like airport.
Yeah, you drive.
And then we'll haul on it until some of these side roads that are shaded that need root base, they get melted off where our trucks won't slip when we go to haul on them. And then we'll
That's
haul on
dry
them.
out there.
Yeah, we definitely will get out there if I need some road base on it. But this time, over the summer, we didn't have time to haul road base. We were busy playing the roads because of dry conditions.
Trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, now's a good time for us to do that, unless the temperatures drop to the low that they did last night. And then what happens is that road base is warm and it's got a little moisture in it.
And it
Our
freezes
truck-
and it's hard to get it.
Yeah, it'll freeze up and then.
You can't dump it.
No, I won't dump. So, if it gets up to 15, 20 degrees, we can haul it, no problem. It's gotta get up to that. And when it gets over, down to 10 below, it's gonna be mid-morning or later before we can do anything for hauling, so. And the roads have gotta be safe to travel on for these big trucks too, so. I think we'll be able to haul again in the morning.
Keeping your safety meetings going and
Mhm.
schedule and all that.
We weren't able to have one yesterday because of the snow regulation, but, unless something prevents us, we're doing it every Monday morning, so.
Excellent.
Good. And you're,
So what do you need to tell us that we're not seeing on the report? Is there anything, anomalies going on, any major breakdowns, any needs of funds that we don't know about?
No, we did have one situation out here on County Road 264, and this happened about 8 or 10 weeks ago. A cattle guard got cleaned, and unfortunately there was a phone line that ran right underneath that cattle guard. We've got a locator that we use to make sure that we're not going to interfere with any public utilities, and unfortunately it wasn't working right, and these guys didn't know that phone line was under there, and we kind of fault country for having it in the location they did, but nevertheless, they're going to try and bill us for that repair.
Where, down here?
No, I was out on 264, right off of 260. Well, actually, it's 254, right off of Oak
Or
Creek.
did he hit it on the sign there?
No, it was actually running the
Down the
material.
middle?
Yeah, right down the
You're
middle.
kidding.
Like at the cattle guard run like this, it was running.
Yeah,
that's strange.
Unfortunately, they're in some unfortunate locations for us.
Well, he wouldn't. Did you call for an 811?
That's just it.
No,
I went around and it didn't happen. So we've got a new policy. Anytime we break the surface of the ground, we're calling it 811.
we could maybe talk to the Century of people this afternoon down in Wetmore.
We got the director of the whole state
Yeah.
of Colorado.
We wouldn't do the same person you're probably dealing with, but we could put a bug in his ear. What do you suppose that bill would look like?
I'm not sure.
$200-300?
No.
More than that.
Because they call out an emergency crew to get people back online again, so it's going to be quite a bit. I'll bet it'd be a couple thousand. And I'm just on notice that we may get billed for it. I haven't seen.
Well, we won't make a big
so-
stink about it yet, but if we need to, we can certainly reach out to CenturyLink.
Yeah, it's just something that needs to be done as far as doing the 811 call. I do it on the computer, and I'm going to take a class in January where I won't even have to deal with 811. I'll cut out the middleman, the 811 service, and then I can do the 811 mapping and everything myself. So we're going to install some posts down in the valley for these road name signs. So we did all that 811s for it. And we'll probably try and get some of those in today.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, we're in the process of making the signs right now.
Good.
And we're going to install some of the posts.
Good.
Get about 10 or 12 locations done and then move on to the next 10 or 12.
Good.
We'll do it in phases.
We've had a discussion at a previous commissioner meeting about adding 3 signs on 3 state highways that basically say Custer County, a right to ranch county. I'm assuming we could put those on existing signposts. We haven't taken action on that, still kind of in the research process of that, but.
I'm talking about county signs.
County, yeah.
not
Welcome to
city.
Custer County. Is that what you got in mind?
Well, no, just Custer County, a right to ranch county.
Like at the county line coming in.
Major road.
Yeah,
That probably, in order to be big enough to be meaningful, you might need 2 posts.
yeah, probably so. And then if it's going to be on state right away, we have to go through CDOT. If you don't put it on state right away, it's back off supply.
You
So-
can't speak. But we got all the state right away has all these goofy. I mean, Bishop Castle's on there, for
Yeah, I don't think it would be an issue, we
Get it
just have
done.
to go through them before.
Jump through the hoops.
Yeah, I doubt they have an issue with it. They like to pinpoint where it goes, so that.
Who's
because
making the sign, Tom?
Well, we're still, Colorado Barricade's gonna give us a bid, but we haven't made that
You don't have
decision.
an
We're
idea
still
how big it's gonna be,
researching.
then, or how it looks.
Mhm.
I like I like the idea, but I'd put a, why not say welcome, pay a little
Well,
money.
yeah, I was hoping that we could piggyback off of the signpost at the Custer County line signs,
Put another wind load on it.
but,
Yeah, that's the issue there. It kind of depends on the size of the existing sign, you know, the location, and
Yeah, well, I
if
would,
it catches much wind. and
I'm
things like
speaking just thought flowing here, but I don't, if it costs a little extra money, or I don't know who's gonna do it, it's worth, tooting our horn and, that's, you see a
And
few.
sometimes they prefer to do it themselves. I know that when we put one of the signs put up there at Wetmore that, this area prone to flash flooding, they actually put them up for us. I supplied with the sign.
I may talk to them today about that.
That's a good
while we're
idea.
down there. CDOT, if they'll do it if we provide the sign, if they would
Might be
install
nice.
them or what.
And if not, we've got an order. We can.
I've seen them with the two posts with the CDOT blue, they put them up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they'd have a problem.
Okay, good.
What will that accomplish, Tom?
Just a promotion of the
Ranch.
right to ranch, agricultural heritage in our county.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. I guess it could be informational to some point, but.
I mean, it doesn't say look out for, cattle
No,
on the road.
just a statement that we are a
yeah.
right to ranch. If there are cattle on the road and you think that's highly unusual, well, we are a right to ranch county.
And you'll
They
see
won't know
signs
that
with cows
coming
on
in.
Right,
it.
that wouldn't
It
trigger
wouldn't
that.
inform them of that.
Are there counties where it's not with a cow? I thought Colorado was a right to
It
ranch
is.
state.
It is.
So I mean, it's nice to put on there, remind people that
Right.
the cows have the right of way, not you. But Custer County's not unique in that.
No, there's just not many counties that advertise that.
I don't have a problem with it, I think that's our heritage and it's fine. I was just curious.
Speaking of that, I was just thinking about that Hermit Bridge again. I think I'm gonna see if I can find a vendor, someone to make an aluminum date plate for that thing. Because, a modern structure like that ought to have the installation date on it and things like that.
And the GPS coordinates.
Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to, we could put them on there. It's a good idea. Because that thing is, it sure is not a bad idea to have the installation in.
Sure.
So,
But yeah,
I'm gonna see if I can.
60 years from now, the Gary Hyde Memorial Bridge will be coming down. I wonder when it was put in. Who's Gary Hyde?
Yeah. Who was that guy?
He was a hermit, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
He
hermit.
lived under that
Found
bridge.
some gold, yeah.
Probably panning for gold right there.
He
Yeah.
lived under the Hermit Bridge. Anything else, sir?
Just one other mention.
Okay.
I had planned on going to Kevin's mom's service Saturday. Because those are those events that I try to attend, but I had a coworker back in Kansas that passed away, and his funeral's on that same
Oh, boy.
day, so I'm gonna travel back to that one, so that's the reason I won't be at that funeral, otherwise it would be.
Have you talked to Kevin about that? He knows.
No, I
Did
need
you
to
not
let
want
him
to?
know that I'm gonna be gone.
That'd be nice if you would, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I think the three of us are planning on attending, so.
I would normally.
Okay, all right,
That's
sir.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Have a great day today, buddy.
You too.
Tell those guys we appreciate their work.
I will. See you, Kelly.
See you, man. Public health is not next, but we received a text from her this morning. She's under the weather. I didn't read the entire thing. Let me look at it real quick. I know Brenda has, but I don't believe she's gonna make it in.
Is not.
So, she's at home. If she had any questions about her report, we can give her a call. So maybe we should look at that while we're waiting on human services.
We have a lease agreement that we need to,
Yes.
I assume council, you looked at that?
I did.
Any issues, sir?
No.
All right. Yeah, I assume that's exactly what you were gonna ask him, right?
Exactly what I said, any issues?
Yeah.
No, I read it, I mean, I thought it looked like just very standard.
You know, initially, well, we can talk about it. I would move that we approve the lease agreement between the county and the West Custer County Hospital District.
I second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the lease agreement with the Custer County Medical Center. Discussion.
Just a comment, we haven't paid for this service before,
Right.
but it is appropriate, in my opinion, that we do pay them, we are using their services. This will save the county a huge amount of money by entering this lease as opposed to leasing a separate entity and putting in all the infrastructure, phones, heat and all the rest of that. So, I just think this is a good deal and I appreciate both entities working on it.
Who's signing this for us?
We're in the middle of a motion here. You're welcome to sit down. I just wanted you to know, we decided to deal with a piece of business while we're
But it's
waiting.
good to see you.
Alyssa Livengood is a signatory on behalf of the county, and Lisa Drew on behalf of the medical clinic. So the commissioners do not have a signature line on this document. Yeah, I agree, Commissioner Prince. Initially, when this first came to the surface, I thought, well, let's just go find a place, and it didn't take long to realize by the time we just meet the minimum stuff, technology, I think this is the route to go myself. So. All right. Further discussion, comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will instruct Mrs. Livengood to sign on behalf of the county for the lease agreement. Miss Brenda, do you have a hard copy of that?
I do.
Okay, you can shoot that back to her, or
I
we
just-
don't need to sign it.
No. I'll just let her know that you approved it.
Okay, it's just her and Lisa are the only
Where do you
signatures.
record it? Where do you keep it? Never had one.
It just gets filed in our office, my office.
Okay, good. Good morning.
It's not in the vault, under the lock.
It is in the vault.
Oh, okay,
Under
well,
lock
that's
and
what I
key
thought, it
and-
had to be in the vault.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are ya?
Good morning.
Have you warmed up in there? I didn't.
It was 58 this morning, so it's coming up. My hands are cold, yeah, it's
Yeah.
cold, it's coming.
How's it coming up? You got 10 heaters in
We
it?
have two,
Yeah.
we have one, Stacy has one back in her office, and then Kayla has one. So, the one that Kayla has is back where the thermometer is, so I'm watching that, and I'm like,
It's
oh, well,
not that hot.
that's it. No, because I'm looking at that and going, because we have two, and I'm like, okay, well, that's because hers is, he's coming from that one,
Right.
but it was like 62, it's coming up a bit. But
Well,
Mario came by yesterday afternoon and said he's just waiting for that part.
Right.
So hopefully it's gonna be in today.
So, gentlemen, we have a motor that's froze up on the heating unit up on the roof, and Mario was aware of it. He had ordered a new motor for that heating unit, and so
We're just waiting.
initially he thought it was going to come in yesterday. Obviously, it didn't. So
Yeah.
hopefully today.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think it's gonna come in today. I don't know.
She's praying.
I'm hoping it's coming in today, and we knew that it was good. This did not get attached because I didn't get it until Friday, and then I forgot to send it out, sorry, and I didn't even think about it yesterday. What that is, and I just handed them all out, but that's okay, they'll ask you about it.
Okay. This is the same thing we do each year.
This is the same thing we do every year about you guys saying that, whatever that says there.
We're exempt from the county merit system.
Yeah, but that you're supposed to make sure that everything is still in line with,
Certified that we are in compliance with the above principles and criteria.
And we are, right?
It's Boy Scouts honor.
he said Boy Scouts honor, so I'm just gonna go with
So the guy that got ran over by a stock trailer, right?
You can't trust me.
Okay.
He Yeah.
Would you like to take action on this right now?
They want it back by January 1st, and so I didn't know if I'm gonna be meeting with you guys, and that's why I thought I'd just bring it with me, even though, but we've signed it every year for,
I remember last year.
yeah, last year, we've signed it every year for,
The 4 years I've been here.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Hasn't come back to bite us yet.
No.
Do we need to make a
Yeah.
motion for that? I move we assign the, it's called the CDHS Certificate of Compliance.
Yeah, I was just looking at- No, I'm
I'll
just
second
looking to see
2019.
if any of them look better than
Just trying to
the
move
other
forward, I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded
You need
to
that.
sign off on the CDH certification of compliance. I'm
And what I'll-
assuming CDH is Colorado Department of Human Services.
And I'll fill in Custer County
Okay.
down there, I'm
Alright,
sorry,
good.
I'll type that in.
So, he can sign the one he's got there.
Yeah, he can sign.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Is this for 2019 or 2018?
It's for 2019.
Okay, all right. So that
And I
year's-
said that in the motion,
Yeah.
but it was quiet.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Today would be the
We'll
4th.
do that part.
I'm gonna,
Or you gotta go, you go fill it, finish.
I'm
it
gonna
out.
finish filling it out and then I make her a copy.
So we don't need to sign it?
Oh, no, sign it. You just sign it, but I'm gonna, right here, I'll type in Custer, and then I gotta put a check mark there and da-da-da-da-da. But no, you sign it for me, okay? And then I'll give Kelly a copy,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
so that she
You can
has.
put it in the vault.
She'll put it in the vault, she'll lock it up in the vault. I don't know where there's a cap, I wanna know, I wanna see where you're keeping my things, okay? Probably under a,
That will cost.
We have a
Got a
clone,
search
we have a
order.
clone of it right here.
yeah, probably in a
Yeah, that's
little
right.
box stuck somewhere and you don't really know where.
With those extra ballots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With all the other ballots.
Chads, like, Amy and Chads, yeah, that's where they are, okay, as long as we know, we're good. Okay, so, we have our lovely little thing here, which we're doing just fine on, if you look at it, so, we should be okay. I have been worried about my admin because of so much training that we have going on. And in December, we have a 2-day training, so we'll be up in a motel in Colorado Springs. It was gonna be in the Springs, and they moved it to Canyon, so we were gonna drive, and now they moved it back to the Springs. So now we'll be in another motel, so that'll be 2 nights of a motel, so. And then, we placed 2 children, and they're small children, and we didn't have room here in the county, so they're out of county, but the judge ordered, since they're small, visitations 4 days a week for 2 hours at a time.
No way.
So, we are having to travel. We tried to set it up, they're in Fremont, we tried to set it up with the visitation center in Fremont. They wouldn't do it because they only do 1-hour blocks, because they are so busy, they can't do 2-hour blocks. So we
Can't schedule 2 1-hour blocks.
I know, that's what we thought too, but no, they won't do it. So we are traveling, down every day to Fremont to do these visits. We
Taking the
have,
kids down?
no, the kids are in Fremont.
Okay, so you're just supervising?
Yes, at first we were bringing the kids up here, so we went down, picked the kids up, had a 2-hour visit, took the kids back down and came back up. That's too much.
It's a day.
Yeah, and we don't like transporting the kids, especially on these nasty roads, and so now we're just going down, parents are going down and we're meeting, down there.
Parents go with you or on their own?
No, on their own, and we're doing it that way, and, but, yeah, it's a lot. So you're gonna see some stuff with travel.
So you say we, you mean one person out of your office?
One person out of my office is going, so.
Yeah. And where are you meeting?
Right now, we're meeting at McDonald's, because it's working well, because they have that little play area.
Yeah.
And because we couldn't figure out where to meet with them, because we couldn't do it at the visitation
Judges'
center.
chambers?
Yeah,
That'd
judges'
be nice.
chambers.
Would the
We
judge
tried to get that, when we found out we could only get the visitation center for 1 hour, we tried to get the judge to say 1 hour, he wouldn't do that. So, there we are with that. We have court on December 11th, so we know for sure we're going to be doing this until then.
Bless you.
We can't do
Bless
anything
you.
else with it.
Right, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, this one was not good, so we'll see what happens then. So anyhow, you'll probably see the admin next month will be more, okay? Just giving you a heads up.
So tell us ahead of time, makes it okay.
Well,
Cause I'm gonna try that if it works.
I don't know, I'm just, I'm just giving you a little bit of a warning there.
Yep.
This is
Gotcha.
the stuff that happens to us. And we have a kid right now in PYC that we're waiting for a bed, and when that, Pueblo Youth Center,
Thank you.
and we're waiting for a bed, and when that opens up, then we're gonna put him in a place called Third Way, and that's gonna be, it's a residential treatment center, so it's gonna be expensive too, but we're just waiting for the bed.
Where is that at?
In Denver. We have another kid up in Denver, so that's kinda good, because then we can, when we have to do our monthly visit, we can just,
Do 'em both.
we do them both, and so, yeah. So anyhow, we're on the road a lot, but anyhow, so we can deal with that.
Who does that?
Stacy does the visits, and if she can't do them, I can do them. Right now, for the supervised visitations, we have case service aide doing that, and that's going fine. It's going really well. It's a lot of travel. But, okay,
See, your OAP's going down.
our OAP is just, it kinda hangs in there. We, a little down, a little up, but yeah, it stays kinda steady there, so that's nothing. LEAP, hasn't, the numbers you're seeing for November and December, well, this is for October anyhow, but those are last year's numbers. And so we got 127 last year, and right now, for the first payment, we got 115. We had a lot more cases that we denied for over income, or they're not vulnerable, so those are, but you'll see that next month, those will be on there, okay? So yeah, that first payment was out there. And then our Medicaid transportation, that's just always a lot, but it's not too bad this month. Down a little bit, but fine too. CSBG.
Now, what's the last number you have there? $1,526 in October on Medicaid?
I have $1,526.50.
Okay.
Yeah. And then our community service block grant, we didn't have any in October. I have some in November, but I have money, so that's good.
For which one was that?
The community service block grant.
And typically, what's that pay for?
Rent, utilities, and we've paid for appliances, like if the water heater goes out, something like that, we'll do that. It's an emergency type thing.
And hot tubs not included?
No, we don't do hot, no, we do hot tubs. Are you related to Jackie? Jackie was in there a minute ago trying to squeeze money out of me, and I said, I'm not doing that, Jackie, it doesn't fit my program area that you're trying to get money for, so knock it off. Okay, yeah.
Gotta try.
Oh, yeah, you just gotta ignore her. I don't know, what the heck happened on the energy? Oh, so the reason Energy Outreach looks so funny is because we started a new year.
Right.
It started in October, and so I had one payment there.
Does it include wood for heat for fireplace?
Yeah, it would.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yep,
what that figured.
anything that is heating, we do,
Great.
wood pellets, that type of stuff, we do all of that. Okay, that's good. And then our food assistance here, we're up a little bit, we always see that towards winter because of the number of households, because that just happens in winter time. And then our TFAB, which that's kind of a strange thing, but anyhow, that just depends. It didn't make, I don't know, this month, we sent it to the paper, and it didn't get in the paper. I don't know what happened to it, so we didn't have as many people as we would have liked, because it never made the paper, even though we sent it, so gonna make sure.
Damn papers.
I know.
Not my thing.
No, in your paper, you got it in your paper. Yeah, I think it was in your paper. They didn't get it in there, so.
Because when you say it didn't make it in the paper,
Oh, well, I should have said,
I automatically assume it didn't make it in the paper of record. That's how I look at it.
no,
but that's
it
not the
made
case.
it, I should have said, well, I don't know. it didn't make it into one of the papers. Okay,
Yeah.
there, that's how I should say
Because
that.
if you put it in on our paper of record and it doesn't get there and it's county business, that's different. And we
Okay.
need, to, I think, don't you
Yeah.
pursue that? I mean, that's what we've.
I would say
Yeah,
that's.
I don't know why it
probably
didn't get in there, we
Okay.
sent it, I don't know what the deal was for the one paper, so I'm gonna try to make sure that we,
Okay.
well, send
Good.
it, and then we'll call and make sure they got it, and da-da-da-da-da-da, because,
Shouldn't have to.
no, I shouldn't have to, because usually they just get it.
How big is it? What do you say?
How big
Just
is
a
it?
notice?
What's the notice saying?
They do a little article that says we're gonna be having commodities on this day, we kinda,
Sort of like a press release?
yeah, yes, and then we also tell in there what we're gonna.
You
what we-
write it?
Stacy has, we
Stacy.
just have like a little thing that we do,
Blurb.
blurb, and we just have it there, and then we just fill in the different things we have each month. And then we send it out so people know what we're gonna be getting out that
Yeah, I
time.
need to know.
And so we just have it already ready to go, and then she just fills in what we have, and then we electronically send it to them. So, I don't know what happened.
Good.
Okay?
Yep.
So, I think that's all that I have.
I
Okay.
have an awful little question, if you don't mind me
Okay.
asking. What do you do with folks who come in, are in need, but they don't fit in any of your programs? Do you help refer those folks?
Oh,
in?
yeah, we refer them to like any organization that we think that they will fit into.
Good.
And if we have somebody that's over income and we can't help them with rent because that CSBG does have an income
I
guideline,
understand.
then I refer them to the churches, like Catholic Church, the Methodist Church, Baptist Church. If they're a vet, we refer them to the veterans, so we try to make sure that we can help them in any way, shape we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know you did that just recently for a fellow that I've been working with.
Oh.
And I really I knew you couldn't help him, but
Yeah.
you gave us good suggestions.
Yes,
so I
yeah, we
appreciate
do,
that.
and we have that resource guide, so we make sure we hand out a resource guide to them, because sometimes there's stuff on there that, they may not be able to get in our county, but it's offered in another county, so we always do referrals to everybody.
Good. Thanks.
Oh,
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank
for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thank you, and Kelly, I'll get that to you, and then you and I will go into the vault.
Ooh.
I know, it'll be scary in here.
Yeah. All right, thank you,
I don't know
ma'am.
if you have the clearance to go into the vault.
Well, not,
I go into the vault
not
all the time.
unaccompanied. You won't let her go in there unaccompanied, will you?
I try not to.
Yes, because I have my food cards are in.
So you
that
have a
vault.
pass to get in there
Yes, I
unaccompanied.
do.
Gentlemen, I would ask that you would just quickly look at Alyssa's report, public health. We started on that, and so if you have any questions, I can pass those on to her.
I read it last night, kind of glanced through it expecting to hear her today, but I didn't see anything in it that jumped out at me.
Commissioner Camden?
No,
Good. And Miss Brenda let her know that we voted to authorize her to sign the lease agreement, so she's aware of that. So, okay, if you don't have any questions, we will move forward. Mr.
He
Swartz?
said he had to run across the street, get something, and be right back.
sounds like it's time to take a cup of coffee.
Might be a time for a break.
Let's do that.
Take about a 3-minute break. Good point, thank you, sir.
Okay, Kelly, you are a roadblock.
Pull that out, and just Jay's going in.
Marijuana enforcement.
Yeah, coming to your house.
Yeah, oh no.
Stay away. You doing okay?
Yep.
I'm assuming you let us know if you want.
Yep.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Getting ready to move.
Yeah, it's looking like it.
Montana?
Oh, Michigan.
Oh, man, I thought it was Montana.
Well, that's already planned for me. The more research we do, the
So
more
yes, you
the
will.
cost of living
Yes,
up there
I
is.
will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go up near Mackinac
So-
or something. House we're looking to buy is
Yeah.
$69,000, 1,300 square foot ranch and half an acre walking distance away. Yeah, compared to buying.
How are you?
And I think it's
How are you?
every day.
Good, I'm good. Is Michelle home yet?
No, she's
Yeah, we just
talking
need to see
about
that. You know,
touring.
Oh, okay, I thought
And
for some reason I was
we
thinking
love
she's
it.
gonna
My
go
wife
before the end of the year.
is right up there.
No,
The house is
I
open,
forgot
got a
about
front
that.
door, made a life.
she's
2
got a
tenths of a mile
teach
you're on
until the end
Sand
of
Beach.
February.
But you're hot. Well,
Yeah.
3 miles out.
And then she was the
Wait,
first
Florida
one
Beach is an
that
8 mile
wanted
paved
to
contract.
Australia. And
Then
that was
you go
pretty
outdoor,
big
and then
deal.
second
Yeah.
mile, you go right, 4 tenths of a mile, conservation.
Gotcha.
This is
Seven
the
miles
current
back.
plan.
Oh, good for you.
I remember how overwhelmed it was.
1 mile from house to
It was
town.
good.
Yeah.
Winter's brutal, but they're all.
I think it's a lot of times it's
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Winter's there.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
come for the 6 months.
Good luck, you guys. Good traveling.
to get them
Yeah.
up to speed.
I mean, that's what I admire that about North Carolina. Because I mean, that really does, you know,
But they're-
Because
I'll
we
get
could-
over it. If I can't,
Even
just
6
fly
months
over
didn't
the
really
skies
help,
all
but
over.
it at least gives you.
Probably was. You might say,
Oh, well.
you know, we were gonna put some restrictions on that.
So,
Well, good. So her name's Stephanie.
I don't know the last name.
Oh, minor.
I didn't know it. I mean,
Yeah, little weekend.
yeah.
Well, good. Well, I'm not clean the toilet, I'll turn that around.
Yeah, so.
But you're so
that
good
was
at it.
Kinda last
I should use rubber gloves, but
until they.
You know, this is, thanks, we authorized sign the lease, thank you.
When Scott and I, before we got married, we lived in Winter Park for a while and worked in the ski area. And
You guys like good
he
Thanksgiving?
twisted his knee really bad,
Yeah.
and couldn't work. And so I went to work cleaning rooms, because I could clean rooms for
Did she come?
$150 a day.
No,
For
no,
like
he-
4 hours. And,
His dad.
he did cleaning.
Yeah, so,
But
you know.
to get grinding and stuff, I
On
on
his dad's side,
there pretty good.
Ooh,
And
wow.
for gas. And a lot of those people, you know, they come up there for a week and they buy 2
That's
weeks
awesome.
worth of food, and when they leave, they just leave it. And so we didn't buy any groceries that winter.
That's
I know.
cool.
Yeah, all the brand new stuff.
Lucky to have a
Nice.
advertising.
Well, that's
Yeah.
And for her to be helping.
I see it when these guys come up here and go hunt season, they'll buy brand new ketchup, brand new mayonnaise, mustard.
Getting on the hunt pretty good here.
So,
He
Yeah.
take
No,
them.
he like
it's right now.
bounced back really quick.
I'm already, I've been in an accident.
Master Smith, you're looking mighty spry.
So tired of my nose.
I'm practically all healed, just doing physical therapy now for my shoulder.
You're practically
Which-
50%.
Which, by the way, I won't be at the meeting this afternoon, I gotta go to the club for
Okay.
therapy.
Okay.
What meeting you got, boss?
Justice,
Oh, yeah, they,
same meeting you do?
make it quick, would you, because we got another meeting at 3 in Wetmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't take very long, we don't have a lot to go over right now. That I'm aware of anyways. Miss Brenda might. have
Yeah,
something
she'll
else.
bog us down with a big old, long agenda.
Take my coat off for you.
Well, you know, we don't have any info back from underfunded courts, so.
Yeah, we're sort of in a holding pattern at this
Well,
point.
what's the holdup? Only been 3 days, come on.
When will we hear?
I like that bill.
They thought before the end of the year.
Yeah, before the end of the
Hey,
year.
Brenda,
Yes.
would you hand me that black?
I would
cup?
guess not-
Blood in it, I forgot to grab
I'd
it.
say probably by the
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably by the 21st we'll know, I would guess.
Okay, call the meeting back in order. Next up, VSO.
All right, I'm here.
You are.
Morning.
All of
Good
them.
morning, how are you?
Good morning. Good, how you doing?
Hustled your rear end right over there and back real quick.
Yeah, I did it. No cold, that's cold. No, it's not cold, it's chilly. It's been 5 winters in Korea. This is not cold.
This is not bad.
Is it cold in Korea?
1 month it barely got over 0.
Oh.
So, no,
Korea.
kind of Texas. worked out then. I didn't have time to get around to those before. So I put those on the cover. I don't know, shit.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
You finally met Jim Reed, I understand.
Yes, I did. He's coming in this afternoon.
Very good.
We definitely have to talk. That's good. So good.
Was trying to get him in there for a long time.
And thank you for that. Because what we find, particularly Vietnam vets, is they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And we've been seeing that for the 4 years I've been here almost, is we've done a lot of claims, disability claims for Vietnam vets who just haven't kept up on the Agent Orange issue, and they've missed out on years of compensation. So that continues, so thanks for that, I appreciate that. Anyway, let's get on the subject. Monthly report, let's go ahead and take care of that. You're okay first, the monthly report, the numbers. Shows phone call 62, office visit 55 with the holiday. I went back Kansas City for Thanksgiving, and then I had a surprise where I had the third heart cath schedule as my cardiologist wanted to go back and look and see just to make sure everything was looking good. And I got a total clean bill of health. It says it's as good as you could expect. It says no visible signs of any damage to arteries, heart, nothing. The last thing of precaution, he wants me to go this Friday get an echocardiogram. We just want to do a good screen, just to make sure that we're on track. So that was good news. So the bruising, that's part of the game. So any questions on the report? Nothing. I said this is always just to serve case for state, so the state sends the money.
Okay, I'll move we accept his report and we can discuss it.
For a second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to accept VSO report for November. Discussion, public comment. Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Visa update, I kind of gave that already as far as my health goes. And the other news is, as you've already heard, my house is under contract with the closing date scheduled for the 26th of this month.
Heard that.
Congratulations. Thank you. And, is that me?
No, it's my computer.
It sounds just like my phone, that's why I thought I turned it off. Okay.
So what's your plan?
Well, the plan is we're still kind of in that limbo stage because they have up to Friday to object and so on and so forth. 5 minutes ago, before I left here, I got the email with the list of objections, which are 3 minor. Septic tank, we had a thing on our exhaust on the roof, the collar's missing, I guess, and so 3 minor things. So we look like we're good to go. There's a cash deal that coming in. So I'll be giving official notice probably by the end of the week. That'll be effective 31 December. Our timeline is to close the 26th of this month. I have enough vacation time to cover, besides the holidays, the last 2 weeks, and so my last working day will probably be next Friday.
So your recommendation for
Interim,
interim is
yes,
still the same?
Still the same. I have spoke to Roger already, and he is still willing to do that. I'm more than happy to do that. To come up 2 days a week. He'd like to do 2 10 work days a week. And then he would also be available, depending on who you hire and what their experience level is. If they're a greenie like I was, he'd be more than happy to come up and train for a while. And also with the way my situation is going to be, I've got a good price on the house, which is going to allow me to. My plan is to take a 6 month sabbatical. My full-time job for 6 months is going to be get up, work out every day, and get healthy as I can. Okay, so I'll be available, and I will maintain contact. On the situation here.
So you're not moving right away?
No, we're moving right away. We're moving. Okay, we're moving this month, end of the month. So, but my phone, I'll keep contact with what's going on, and once I hear who you hired and their experience, I'll contact that BSO and let them know or her that I'm available to come consult for cases that we have going, because we have quite a few cases that are either in pending appeal hearings and those type of things, and then open cases for vets who are out there looking for medical documentation and so forth to come in and finish submitting their claims. So Roger's coming in next Wednesday is the plan, which is the 12th, to spend the whole day going over all the cases and to get him familiarized and update notes and that kind of thing, okay? So that's the way it lines up right now. All on the assumption that nothing weird happens with this deal, but I don't, we had an opportunity to meet the buyers at the inspection. They had a great conversation and they're really looking forward to moving here, so.
Did I give you back my work copy? Am I daydreaming or?
I don't know.
I know you handed me one. I don't have it. Okay, that's all right.
Okay, well, I give you that.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I did.
Okay, that's okay.
Sorry.
It's the second thing that goes, Tom, and you can't remember the first.
Well, I'll give you mine, because basically, we're at number 4. So anyways, I wanted to cover a couple things real quick, and I want to make sure, so I actually typed up the statement to keep me on track, okay? Because there's a whole lot more than what I've got in my statement that we could go over, but this is the bulk of the really main stuff. So I'd like to read the statement to you. I call it the State of the Veteran Service Office. I'd like to talk about the state of the VSO by saying we made a lot of progress over the last 4 years, almost 4 years. April will be 4 years coming up. So when I was hired in April 2015, the VSO was a part-time minimal service position with no budget for training, supplies, equipment, travel, well, basically no operating budget. My first day I walked in the office was empty. I walked into an empty room. It was my first day, okay. It had to be set up from scratch. Some of the things that we've happened over this period are office setup. The logo that you see, not this form, but on my business cards, that logo didn't exist. My wife actually created that logo the first few months. My background, sales and marketing, badging, logos, have something to build around is huge. So there was no county logo for the VSO office. Renovate the office primarily, which was done through private donations from the community. We went from part-time to full-time, which coincided with the new state funding, which has increased each year. Equipment upgrades, new printer was the first thing we purchased in January 2016. The printer that was in there was 4 years old, and matter of fact, it quit working the last part of December of 15. So time-wise, and we just new computer and monitors were just installed in the last 2 weeks. Attend national training conferences, VA accreditation, which has led to VBMS access for claims and file access and for research and appeals, which is huge. This is probably the biggest thing going. Unfortunately, today I believe that access stops, except Roger is fully accredited. So that access will continue. The accreditation access is to the person, not to the office, okay? So that's the other big plus for having Roger come in twice a week. He can still maintain and keep track of until the new person comes on board. So, okay. The Retrospect database, which is the state side of the house, which when we first started, there were 62 veterans annotating there, is now 480. Annual appointments, on average, have increased from 140 from 2014. We were averaging around 900 over the last 3 years, 500 something my first year. 1,000, broke 1,000 my second year. Last year was just short of 1,000. This year, about 800 something. So, VA service compensation annual amount has increased. VA report shows that fiscal year 2014 coming into the county was $2.53 million, going directly to veterans for compensation for disability claims purposes. Fiscal year 17 report shows we're at now $3.49 million, so it's almost $1 million annual increase over the last 4 years. And 2018 report won't be released until usually, let's say July or August each year is when that comes out. So I'll give you a better update there. Annual community workshops, 3 years we have done an open to forum type workshop. This year we're not able to do that. And then a VA town hall meeting was done last year, which included having the regional director come and take questions from vets here locally. We've gone from minimal to good, but there's still a lot of work to do. My goal is to have the best VSO office in the state. Things left to do to take it to the next level, and this is kind of the sequence I've been working on. Priority would be to relocate to a better equipped office to have more space to expand services and less interruptions for veterans, especially PTSD vets. I've had vets who have walked out due to sometimes so much commotion coming in over there, and it's taken me months to get them to come back in. Okay, that's happened more than once. Proper classroom space, a new location to teach and train vets on the benefits and other things that veterans can't actually do for themselves. It was one of my goals to have a proper classroom for training to be able to teach 5 to 10 vets at a time. Right now I do it one-on-one. Teleservice for PTSD counseling, both rehab. The VA is really pushing, they've got a lot of great things out there for teleservices, whether it's telemedicine, tele-counseling. They just announced counseling for both rehabilitation and rehab. So one of those has been to have a space to be able to have a separate office or something set up. So vets, especially during the winter, I've talked to counselors who will tell you that our no-show rate increases with vets not showing up for appointments down the hill during the winter, which is understood. But especially our PTSD vets, if we could have it set up to where they can come in and actually schedule appointments by telehealth type of thing, that can be done. And that is available. There's still some glitches to work out. That's available. Folk rehab, same thing. Medical telehealth is at some point. My goal was to get with the clinic this year to talk to Lisa, new director, and so forth about that situation. So, and also, I still plan to try to get over and see Lisa before I leave. We've already talked a little bit, but not a lot. One of the things I think that the clinic might be beneficial to the clinic is there is a way for them to get actually approved to do compensation exams for the VA. So I don't know if they'd be interested in doing it, but that could be additional income. VA pays upward to $800 per exam. Okay, so that might be something that they could do some. They can't do PTSD, TBIs, and so forth, traumatic brain injuries, but some of the other things that they could potentially do. Okay, monthly VA regional office visits. I've managed to get there usually once, sometimes twice a year. One of the things that being so remote away from the regional office is it's hard to make those contacts. We've made progress in that area, but my goal is at least quarterly to start getting up there. I went up in November, got to spend a half hour with a gal who's a coach for the Peels team. That was very beneficial. And actually she gave me her phone number and email address to be able to inquire. And that's something that needs to be done. Realize you have VSOs who work at the regional office, EAB, American Legion, the state has one VSO there and so forth. So those vets who work those VSOs, they have contacts in the building. They have things that come up. They can walk down the hall and get clarifications and so forth. That's possible, and I'm able to do some of that, but I just don't have the contacts at the level that my goal was. These were some of the goals I had set for the office. I believe they're all possible. Across the state and the country, there are too many counties who self will provide minimal service for veterans, some who have sacrificed more than most people will ever understand. The Veteran Service Officer's job is to be a navigator to assist veterans, navigate the complicated VA system for healthcare, claims, appeals, GI Bill, bulk rehab, survivors benefits, wartime pension, VA mortgages, death and burial benefits, and state benefits. You're also an advocate for them to protect their rights and benefits and privacy. You are at times their only encouragement and support person, or just someone that is available to listen and provide empathy. When the VSO is fully funded and trained and has the right people skills, you can impact their veteran's life in a way that is life-changing. So in anticipation of leaving this month, I want to encourage the commissioners to stay the course and hire someone that has the heart to serve and self-motivate to learn and become the best veteran service officer possible. Our veterans of Custer County deserve no less than the best.
Can you provide a copy of that to Miss Brenda?
Yes, I can.
Good job, Kim. That was a good thing to do, unexpected. That's a good report. State of the Union.
Yeah, so when you start hiring, really some of the keys that I would look for is background, customer service, people skills, those type of things. Someone that can write, that is proficient at writing. When you're putting claims together and trying to connect the dots for the raters, how that is submitted and how it's written is very key. Also research background. Someone that has desire that doesn't mind reading and complicated puzzles. That's the best way to put a disability claim. Every claim is different. It's like putting a new puzzle together every time. And sometimes it requires a few hours of research and reading as these cases can. And it's a 2-year learning curve to really get to where you feel like you're finally got a grasp of things. And then from that part, you go from crawling to walking, and you start running a little bit. And so that's just the way I see it. I told people when I took this job, I thought I was jumping into like a 3-foot end of the pool. When I got about 20 feet under, I said, I better start swimming. And you swim hard and fast for the first 6 months of the year. A lot of time reading and studying. So, okay. So I will keep Donna informed of how the rest of next 2 weeks go, but it looks like it's good. And unless something comes up, we'll be gone real short.
So you're recommending we hire an interim BSO in Roger Watkins?
I do. The opportunity is very rare to have something like that available. He can come in. Like I said, he's agreed to come in next Wednesday if you okay it.
What's he agreed to hours wise? A couple of days a week? What is that?
2 days, 2 10-hour days a week.
2 10-hour days.
Yeah.
I think that's enough time to see people. I mean, two 10 hours is fine, but why not 3 days a week to split it?
In my opinion, well, he still has 1 day a week that he's still BSO for the Veterans Home down in Wall.
I see.
And he's technically retired, so he can do a lot. You're much better having him 2 days a week than someone that has nothing 5 days a week.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
Just trying to maximize his time. That's all. To make sure he
Well, he's coming from Rye, so he'd like to minimize that drive twice a week, especially during the winter, starting in January. So I don't think, I think if I was leaving in the spring and most of the snow was gone, I might maybe.
So you're saying that he would come next Wednesday?
Well, next Wednesday is on his time. It's not a paper.
Oh, okay.
He would just come next Wednesday to go over his volunteer to do that, but he would start then after New Year's.
Okay, so we're looking at trying to fund this position after the first of the year.
Well, like I said, he the budget's there for full-time BSO, so he'd be part-time until you hire someone.
Right.
Money's there. The money's there, and then you'll have, the good thing about Roger coming in, with him coming in, the other thing that's important is you realize that, okay, I'm good for the whole month, so on the books, so you're gonna get the funding for this month. Every month that office stays vacant. If it stays vacant for a month, you lose that funding from the state. Okay. If he's in there part-time, at least you get half of what you normally get. So that's another plus. And with the pay, the way, the pay, the way it's budgeted, depending on the experience level, I talked to Don about this. Now you got a range. You got the pays now at a level that will attract some good applicants, I think. Now, okay. I think if you send so Don, if you send it to separation points at the Air Force Field, Fort Carson, and so forth, you may get a young E7 getting ready to retire at 40, 42, who says, I'm up there all kind of cool. I thought about living up there. There's no work up there.
Something else to do.
So the combination of 20-year retiree plus for the period would be attractive. So I would pursue that to see if you could applicant pool. I would also send it to the National Association.
Can Roger do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and I can help with that.
He knows the context.
Yeah, and I can help with that also. And also through the National Association of BSOs, they can go out to them. You just never know. You may attract someone that's already done it for a couple of years and fully accredited. They come on in and boom. So just an idea. But I'd be more than happy to help with that also. With that announcement disseminated out. Okay. So good. But if you could let me know, so I can call Rogers, so you can know for sure whether you're agreeable with that, and as soon as possible, that'd be great. But those are what I would recommend. Roger's a great guy. He's, like I said, he's got a heart for vets. He came back from Vietnam vet, came back from Vietnam, immediately started helping vets with their benefits when he got back from Vietnam.
I mean, can you introduce him to us?
Well, he came.
I know him in this capacity.
Well, if you give me okay, he's gonna. I'll make sure if you guys want to come by him at 12. I can set aside some time for that. He'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
Wednesday, talk about.
Yep, Wednesday at 12.
I'd like to meet with him, talk to him, if you have a time.
Yep. He's gonna come. He'll be 9 o'clock. He'll be coming. So, but he's planning on staying as long as needed on Wednesday, and they'll probably be all day with the amount of cases that we're going to cover and stuff. Okay. And
Do you want to set a time or?
Yeah, if you all want to set this particular time, I'll go ahead and put that on the books. And
About 10, give you a chance to acclimate, and we can go over 10,
that works for me.
It's at
Okay.
10 a.m. Wednesday.
The 12th.
The 12th.
Wanna meet with us separately, is that what we wanna do?
Oh, I think we can just all three sit.
Three, just shoot the bull with
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And if you decide you want to meet him separately, he'll be around, he'll be available all day, so if you want to meet him as a group, and then if anyone wants to meet him separately, he'd be more than happy to do that.
What's Roger's last name?
Watkins, W-A-T-K-I-N-S.
Do you wanna wait to take action on, the recommendation of hiring him as interim until after we've met with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
I think it would
We
be
could
appropriate,
do it the
yeah.
next meeting right after that.
Although we've already met, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna have a mid-month December meeting
Well,
unless we need one. If we need one, then we can schedule one, but right now we do not have one scheduled, so.
I think we can talk with him though, and we can finalize it either the 31st or
if
the
we won't
1st.
start until the first officially, I think we'd be fine. We could do it
Sure.
on the last day of the
Yeah.
year.
Just a question for you,
Yeah.
just a question, just curious, and this might be a lawyer question, but, are you allowed to approve something contingent, like a sale of a house, contingent upon meeting and satisfactory,
Yes.
type of thing?
We
Okay.
certainly can.
So I didn't know if that was an
Yeah,
option.
we could do that.
Okay.
Can I go back to specific item?
Mhm.
First of all, let me tell you, I'm so proud of the job you've done for this community and for our veterans, and I speak for myself, although I would suspect I've got concurrence on this, that we feel you've done an outstanding job, and sorry you had health issues during this, but you served our community really, really well, and I appreciate that a lot. If you choose to follow this career again, wherever you end up,
Mhm.
if you need something from me personally,
Okay.
I would be delighted to make a recommendation.
I appreciate that. I just, we're looking at Rogers City, Michigan, and I just discovered there is a part-time office there, currently filled, but, the other thing I am gonna do is, there's 3 ways to be accredited with VA. If you're a lawyer, they have their accreditation process, which basically is just paperwork. There's no tests, there's no nothing. They figure if you went through law school, you can probably figure it out. Then the accreditation for VSOs working in a VSO position, but then there's, for non-lawyers, you can actually, and Roger is what's called an accredited agent. Which means he's accredited just as I am, but he keeps his accreditation all the time. He's not, even though he's still technically in a VSO position at the Walsenburg Veterans Home, he keeps his access and he is available to, as long as he keeps his continuing education going. And so that's what I'm pursuing, is I'm gonna go ahead and get my accreditation status and take the test and so forth. The reason for that is, I guarantee it happens all the time. I can be in Walmart, I can be somewhere, and see another veteran, and start talking, oh, you're a Vietnam vet. Do you have diabetes or heart pain? And so I can actually legally, by being an accredited agent, if I run across someone in the community, help them with their claim. The law allows you to do a one-time assistance to a veteran without being accredited, one time, and that's it. You cannot legally represent a claim more than once, but as accredited agent, even as I can do that on a volunteer basis even, so I do plan to pursue that.
In the last couple of weeks, we went to veterans.
Yes.
I just wanted to know if you were aware of that, Francis Burley and Gerald Anderson.
Yeah, I've heard, I haven't heard from the families.
Okay,
I
I'm
know
gonna
it's the
ask
cases,
them to
so-
contact
Yeah.
your office.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, a lot of times Art has my cards, and Art's been really good. Art Nordic about
Wonderful. I agree.
letting families know that if they are a veteran, he's aware they're a veteran. He mentions me and gives them my business cards, so, okay.
I wish you the very best in the future.
I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
appreciate
good
it.
luck.
So,
Thank you,
all right.
appreciate it. Yeah, if you'll provide that information with Brenda, I think that's
I will.
valuable for us to have.
Absolutely, I agree, and I appreciate
All
putting it
right,
together.
no problem. Well, thanks.
Thank you, Tim.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
And I'll keep Don updated.
Really appreciate everything.
Pleasure working with you.
Same here, appreciate it. Hey.
Thanks, Tim, good
All right,
luck.
good, thanks, appreciate it.
Okay, so
We'll see you guys.
I think along those veins, upon I at least need to revisit the budget, see where we were at, what we do salary and
That's why I wasn't ready to.
Yeah,
If I got ready to take a look at this when you done it, and all those-
interim positions,
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah, without having a mid-month meeting, which we can have if we think we need it, is it gonna be right and fair to wait till December 31st?
You can work with Donna.
Well, you know, considering what's going on, it probably would make sense to have a short one just so we could take action. This is such an important
We do
position
some
in our
research
community.
between now and
I
then.
hate to just put it off, I mean, unless either you gentlemen are gonna be gone.
No.
I just don't, I'm not sure it would be fair to an interim person coming in to let them know the day before we want him to technically
That's
go
why
on.
I'm
with
trying
You
to
just talk to him.
Even if it's just a short meeting, I'd recommend we do one maybe on the, I don't know, 20th or something like
That's what
that.
I-
Can't do it the 20th.
Okay, 21st,
You're gonna be out of
We're
there.
getting ready to drive down to Louisiana.
okay.
I'll have an airport board meeting, but that's not till 10. What about the 18th?
18th works for me.
Brenda, what are you thinking down there, back there? Are you even listening?
I,
Okay. What would the 18th look like for you?
the morning is fine.
Actually, the 20th, I'm looking at the calendar.
20th.
Leave on the
No,
21st.
20th would work for me.
20th will be all right.
19th is a
We
problem
can do-
for me.
We can do that too, so 20th will be all right.
I mean, I just.
Let me
I don't
check
wanna-
with Joanne
I don't
before we do
wanna shortchange
that.
this position. I think it's worth for us to get together,
Right.
to- even if it's the only agenda item.
What's the 18th look like?
I'm fine with the 18th.
Yeah, I'm good with the 18th. The 20th would be iffy, but I might still
Right.
be here anyway.
Well, I was planning on trying to make that airport meeting on the 20th is the only reason I'm asking.
I would be there too.
What's the 18th?
18th, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock,
Let's do 9 o'clock.
do 9 and then we get out of the way. You okay with that, Miss Brenda?
I am.
I would move that we schedule another BOCC meeting on December the 18th at 9 a.m.
Second.
Moved and seconded, to schedule BOCC on December 18th. Just further discussion, gentlemen? I would just say, let's make sure we do due diligence prior to that and
Absolutely.
be ready to, we would invite Mrs. Hobby in to talk about
An interim
the
VSO.
possibility of hiring an interim VSO. We're not prepared to do that today.
Me either.
Good. So December the 18th, 9 a.m., we would need you to be there.
Okay.
And while she's here, since we may or may not meet officially, I'd like to wish her a wonderful happy birthday Friday. Too bad, I get it.
Further discussion on the motion? Public comment? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I guess we were gonna get any comment from the back, we would've. You're
Yeah,
good?
turns out.
That's okay?
20th is out for me, so I just saw the calendar.
All right, so the 18th at 9 a.m., we'll prepare an agenda and get that posted, obviously, and that may be the only agenda item, I don't know. But I think it's only fair that if we're gonna do something, we do it before one day notice. Okay.
We could add we need to talk about funding the ads for that strategic plan. We could do it then too. Or actually, we can just take that out. How do we want to do
Yeah, I don't know. Let's put that on the agenda for you.
Let's do it.
All right. Miss Brenda, could you add an agenda item on the 18th of funding a newspaper press release? No,
Let's add ads for
not a press release first. you need
strategic
an
plan
ad.
progress, status.
S brand, strategic planning.
Funding ads for.
Ads for status, strategic plan status. public notice.
And then we also talked about purchasing a couple of ads for Road and Bridge. Do we want to deal with that
Sure.
formally on the
Why not?
18th? Did you get that, Ms. Brenda?
It's a full meeting.
And I move we
Full agenda.
limit the meeting to 1 hour. Cause we're out of here, buddy.
Did you get that, about Road
That's
and
for
Bridge?
Road and Bridge.
Yes.
And then the real,
You had your
the
hand
real
up.
reason was.
No, I was going.
Hiring interim
Hiring
I just
ISO.
saw the tall. Okay, thank you. Any other staff reports? Okay, unfinished business?
Unfinished from earlier today, about this nice lady that I got your little note. I hope you know that we have the 3 other buildings that are part of that, and the hours may change. Is she aware of that? Yeah, we were gonna.
It's 20 hours.
It's
Right,
20 hours
the
custodial.
VSO building.
And that would be, and she was good with it. And she's coming today, just not from 1 to 2 at some point, so I can try to
Perfect.
get her
And
Bring her up
at
to
least
speed.
that it's.
And the hours may change. We discussed that we may change the number of hours, either more or less, depending on how the workload pans out.
Contingent.
Okay.
And that was a question I had, if it would still be the airport and different things in the traffic, because those were things that had.
Right, the airport, SNR and VSO, and the airport I think was every other week, is that correct? And SNR and VSO every week, or as needed, really, maybe more than that. We'll play it by ear.
But yeah, she was on board.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we were a little
Congratulations.
concerned that we didn't get all that specified early on, if that was gonna be a surprise to her or
I
not.
had said that we had not,
Made a decision.
yeah, that it was kind of up in the air. Exactly
So
how
the
it's all
only issue
gonna-
was the number of hours. It is part-time, half-time, contingent upon our review of what it really takes to do the job.
So the hours could change.
Could change up or down.
And I had thought initially only because like Debbie and Jeannie and I used to fill in on the cleaning when they would be gone a week. 4 hours is not a lot because the 3 of us would spend 2. And so that was really, so it's.
Yeah, that's what we need to see how it
You
comes
know,
out.
and how quick she is, so.
Good.
We're just now breaking it apart.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. On any action items, public comment will be allowed. The first item on the new business agenda is a review of the black and gray marijuana grant. Mr. Kavar, welcome. Thank you for your patience.
Good morning, sir.
Check.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Nice to make eye contact with a handshake. Thank you, sir. Not many people do that.
So, what happened with this black and gray marijuana grant is we didn't think we qualified this year. We didn't meet the criteria, but then we were informed that not many agencies were putting in for this grant and they had a ton of money to get rid of and that we should apply.
What made you think it didn't qualify?
Because we didn't have any grows really within the time frame that made the criteria that they had the year before, where we did apply and got it. And so I applied, but the application process was different this year. It didn't require that we put a dollar amount. You basically just put your name on it and the agency name on it, and you send it in, and they decide how much they're going to award us.
Really?
We don't have any idea.
It's kind of crazy.
But the deadline to put that in at the time was fast approaching, so I threw it in. I put it on the agenda to meet with the commissioners, and then I forgot. And so apparently they ran into Tom and said that they were telling him about it and it hadn't been presented. So it's already submitted. I got the thing in the mail this morning.
Submitted and on hold.
It is on hold, but they approved it this morning to proceed forward.
Yeah.
From Tamara, the following application has been accepted for consideration of a grant award by the Division of Local Government. So it's on its way. It just needs your okay.
Okay, very good.
Does that mean we have to ask for a certain amount then?
No, they're apparently going to decide what other counties get, and
Do they
way-
need any additional information to have them make a decision on how much to give us?
No,
No?
couple $100,000 would be good.
Crazy. That would be pretty cool.
I'll go ahead and I'll move that we retroactively approve the black and gray market marijuana enforcement grant that has been previously submitted, just to verify the county.
Yeah, I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, would you stand for the word ratify in there, sir? Or retroactively approve?
Either one works for me. I think it's very clear either way what we're doing.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to retroactively approve the gray and black marijuana enforcement grant. Discussion.
I have something.
Yes, sir.
Page 4 of this application requires an affirmation from the local government attorney that there's compliance with the Tabor statement that's in there, and I will state that the county is in compliance, so they have that on the record.
Okay, and do we remunerate you additionally for that, or
Yeah,
is that
anytime
part
I
of your,
speak up, you
you
know
get
that.
paid extra?
Yes,
There weren't any whereases though.
Yeah, whereas.
No, we only pay for whereases and
Yeah.
therefore.
What
That
is
didn't
this?
sound very legal. to me.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, thank you, sir, appreciate that, good point. And so I would like to say a couple of things, one directly to this, thank you for doing that, appreciate that. The other thing I want to say that really doesn't apply to this, but I need to say it so I don't forget, thank you for your work on that Vail grant stuff. I think you do a lot of stuff that we as commissioners aren't really in tune to or aware of them because we see them come across our desk, but thank you for that work. Appreciate it, but just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
Okay.
Anything else, gentlemen, on grant? Yes, ma'am. Public comment?
What does this pay for, Chris?
So in the years past, when we put in for the black and gray marijuana, anytime we go out on a U.S. Forest Service grow, it pays for overtime hours, it pays for uniforms if they get damaged. In the years past, we have purchased a Connex to store evidence in, those kind of things.
Only on federal property though.
No,
No.
not necessarily. It's any
For
marijuana
any-
that we do.
But it's gotta be related to that.
Yes, illegal grows.
Illegal grows.
Yes.
That's the criteria.
Well, we don't really have any legal grows in the county.
Well, what I meant was the other enforcement actions on marijuana being used incorrectly.
Not like you pull over a car.
Like too many grams that
Right.
doesn't meet the recreational requirement
No,
or whatever. It
it's
doesn't,
usually grows.
but it can be the other.
I mean, if you pulled over a car and they had
Half a bale in the back.
half a bale, maybe, but it's more designed for law enforcement to combat these illegal grows that are sweeping the state all over the place.
What's odd is that the grant has gotten less specific. And Chris can speak to that, because Chris manages this, and I'll echo what Tom said, that Chris is the one that does these applications, and we weren't gonna apply for this, but then they came back and said, hey, look, you guys have applied in the past, and
Yeah,
you
talk
should
about
apply for it.
unspecific,
And
right? Not
we're
even
like,
telling
well,
you the
the
amount.
criteria you're telling us,
Or why.
and they're like, we don't care, just
Yeah.
apply.
Get it, we need to send it.
Okay,
Okay.
so they're gonna give us money to
Right.
help.
I don't believe.
And we're
no
hoping we
question
can
about
buy a
that.
new Connex that we can set over there, 'cause the one we have now is full of marijuana stuff, and we can't use it for what we bought it for, so.
That's great. That's a good idea. That would be.
We're hoping.
I would think.
It's $6.4 million, I believe, is awarded for this grant, 64
Statewide.
counties, but they're not really awarding to like Denver or places like that, because it's more for the rural.
Mhm.
And so we have
Gee,
a
that's a
good
lot of
chance
cash.
to get,
Well, you could get a couple $100,000 out of that deal.
well, that'd be awesome.
Bet you could.
Oh,
I think you can get a couple million.
Yeah.
We'll be happy
You
if we
did
get
20
10.
grand. Be awesome.
Based on my conversations with the DOLA reps, I agree with Sheriff Barley. I'm pretty confident we're gonna get some money. The question will be how much, but that's not really the issue. Any money they give us is gonna help. But I squalled and carried on, bawled and kicked about overtime and all the other associated costs with these marijuana grows and subsequent enforcement. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of retroactively approving the black and gray marijuana enforcement grant, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Thank you for that, sir.
You bet. The only other thing I had was the bail grant. We were approved for the 2019 award of $5,000. It's steadily brought it down over the years. I started with 10, it was 7,500 last year, but we barely spent that. If you don't spend it, you have to give it back. So I asked for 5,000. I currently have one VA and one in training, really, but she's kind of iffy, so it's just a challenge to find volunteers for that. And so the one we have right now she's pretty awesome, but she's in her 70s, and it's not easy to go out 2 o'clock in the morning for domestic violence. So that'll be my push this next coming year, is to get maybe at least one. If
You'd hate to lose the opportunity, I mean.
Right. And so it really just pays for her use of her vehicle. I pay her an hourly wage. I wouldn't be able to do that at all if I didn't get this grant. And so we were already awarded that grant, and I got the paperwork last week.
Good.
And how much was it?
5,000.
And I believe Mr. Barr is under consideration for being nominated or accepted on the Victims Assistant Law Enforcement Board of Directors. So I talked to the district attorney. Certainly may have went out on the limb, but I said I believe that the county commissioners fully would support that. So I don't know what the timeline is on that, but
I haven't heard anything on it.
yeah, I didn't either.
I know Carol Custer was on it, and she's resigned. So.
Yeah. So as we talked the other day when we went to Denver, it is just nice to be able to go into state level stuff and either know people or have people on those boards and have representation from Custer County. So I think that'd be one other place that would be well represented. So anything we can do to help that, let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I say, I'm a little in the dark about the whole timeline and what all has to occur, but if you need anything to make that happen or help it,
I certainly can do that in mind.
all right, sir.
Bail grant just bought us 2 brand new computers at the sheriff's office.
Oh, good.
For managing the
Bail
grant
did?
and just doing all the stuff
That's
that we
cool.
do as part of it.
Good.
That's part of that 5,000 or in addition to?
Oh, that was part of the 7,500
Oh, from last
year.
year.
We spent
Good.
down to get it
Yeah.
down to a zero balance. We bought 2 computers.
Good. All right, sir, thank you.
Thank you,
Sorry
guys.
for the wait.
No, not at all.
Yeah, good
I'm
job.
sure you were
Thanks, Jack.
appropriately entertained while you had to
Good to see
wait,
you.
right? Madam Barley?
Thanks, guys.
Sheriff, nice to see you.
Selma?
Take care.
Justice Center meeting this afternoon?
Yes. One.
I didn't get the reminder out yesterday because
I had it on my
forgot to get it
calendar,
out.
and then I know we had to be down at 3 down at Wetmore, so
Yeah,
I just wasn't
should be
sure
pretty
what
short,
time it
though.
was.
Can you hang
It'll be
around
short.
for just a second, Shannon?
Yes, sir.
In public comment, I want to ask.
Oh, okay. Do that here.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, gentlemen, under new business?
Nope, not for
Okay,
me.
we'll move on to public comment. Yes, sir.
And I just fit it in here somewhere. Shannon had asked a while back about the 2 towns in the county coordinating on an ordinance, or their ordinances for each entity regulating the growing of marijuana. And I haven't done anything on that yet. I still want to pursue that, I assume, or?
Yeah, well, I think we need, so I was told that, so Silver Cliff is looking at doing the ordinance, you know, because the state passed the legislature, or, let's start over. The legislature passed, or modified the law last year to regulate the number of plants that you can grow recreationally and medically in a residential property. And so statewide it's 24, but can be reduced to 12 if you locally write an ordinance limiting to 12. And so the town of Silver Cliff is going to do that. A lot of other jurisdictions have done that as well. And so I just thought, before we end up where Silver Cliff has 12 and then maybe West Cliff doesn't do anything and the county doesn't do anything, or vice versa, that all the entities get together and we just stay on the same page like we have with many of the other ordinances, so that there's consistency, so that we don't hem people up, you know, they live across the street from one
Right.
city limit to the other.
Do you know whether the town is even familiar with that, it would have any interest in doing that?
I don't think the town is even, are they involved in it? I'm not.
Well, they could.
I
The town of
haven't heard
Westcliff,
anything of it.
it's not on the radar to my knowledge, the town of Westcliff.
Okay.
I'm not
So
sure
that's,
they-
I sent that out to Westcliff, to Silvercliff and to, you guys, cause I think you get the email as well, and Clint was in on that, just saying, hey, listen, if this is gonna be discussed.
Well, I just wanted, I mean, if you're interested in coordinating on that, I'm certainly happy to work on that.
That makes sense.
And who's who's handling it for Silvercliff? I don't even know who their town attorney is now, who they,
Is it not, Mr. Watkins?
I think it's Greg.
Greg is,
I
okay.
believe it is.
Do you?
Eileen would know the most about it just because she's the clerk, so.
Okay, do you know of any other counties that have actually done this, any other sheriff's offices? that you've talked to?
There are several, but I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head. I can find out for you though.
Well, I just like to always get something to
Sure.
look, see what somebody else has
Oh,
done.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
work from that.
It's been written already, why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, well, I just wanted to bring that up while you were here and let you know I'm willing to work on that, and I need to talk to you about the other thing, about what we can do about possibly forfeiting property that has been used for illegal purposes over and over. That'll be a private conversation, I'll meet with you on that.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Yeah,
all I had.
on my list as well to at least pursue that conversation. I certainly, as commissioner, would support us getting involved in that. For some reason, I thought it was from 12 to 6, but it's 24 to 12.
Yeah, the most you can reduce it down to is 12.
Okay.
So, you know, you can allow up to 24, but you could, you know, because the state has said 24 max, but you can be more strict up to 12 and no less than that though.
And that's to legally grow for your own recreational
Personal
use
use.
without a medical marijuana
Right.
license?
With or without.
That's what I'm saying, either way.
It's 12 total, doesn't matter what you.
So anybody can grow 12 plants in their home or anywhere else?
Well, really what it does is it falls into that conformity, so you have two adults living in a household, they're both allowed to grow 6, that gives you 12. Because technically you're only supposed to grow 6 medical marijuana plants at any one time, but they're basically saying, look, 2 people usually live in a household, so it's 12.
So they'd have to have 2 medical marijuana licenses?
No, not really.
Okay, what about
They could grow
recreational grow?
It's recreation.
So you can grow up to 24 plants recreationally?
Right now, yeah.
Wow.
In your own home? In your own home?
In your own home, right.
Anywhere else? Could you grow them anywhere else, do you know, or has to be on your property?
Yeah, on your property, when I say,
How
when you
many
say on
plants?
your home, it's
12?
on your property, so your residential property, doesn't matter if it's right here across the street, or if it's on
So it could be next to the
your
school?
35 acres, yeah.
That's a ton.
24
It's a
plants
lot.
that
Shoot,
we
even
saw.
Oregon just approved 12 is all.
It's a lot.
24 plants that we saw in the last marijuana bust.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That'd keep
Oh,
you high.
God. They were probably average 7 feet tall.
Well, they're 24. Unbelievable.
Weren't those plants 6, 7 feet tall?
Oh, yeah.
Every bit of
It's
that?
unbelievable.
Big around as this table across, easily.
Oh, yeah, how far, yeah, bigger than that, like that.
Yeah.
That's
Each
crazy.
plant.
Yeah, each
Now,
plant
the
about
typical
that.
person's not gonna probably get that kind of growth, but, it's possible.
Oh, yeah, it's not that hard.
So 24 plants, in my opinion, is a lot.
It's a lot.
And if I,
But you can't sell it to your neighbors like you can eggs. If you have more eggs than
Right.
no,
Right.
not
That's
legal
correct.
to sell it, that's
That is
correct.
correct. Yeah, you cannot sell, grow and sell marijuana
Supposed to
in
be,
Custer County.
supposed to be in-home use.
That's a lot of leaves.
I wonder about transporting. I'm pretty ignorant about the whole marijuana industry, really, to be honest with you.
Oh, are you asking me about
Yeah, could you
transport?
legally transport recreational marijuana that you grew?
So you're only supposed to be able to, unless you have a license to grow it for sale, and you're only supposed to be able to transport 2 ounces at any time. So if you I'll put it on me. So if I grow personal use marijuana in my house, and now I'm getting ready to go to my brother's in Kansas for the, for the holiday season, so I'm gonna take along enough,
Get me by.
For
get
my
me-
use,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be 2 ounces.
Across state lines is legal?
Oh, no, you go to Kansas,
Go.
you're
I
not
was
supposed to
just
have it at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm saying for argument
Right,
point
okay,
that I'm heading out.
right,
2 ounces is the
Right.
most you're supposed to have on your person at any one time.
but not across state lines,
Oh, no, you go across state lines and you get a whole new,
regardless of how much.
that's right, because it's illegal in Kansas.
Right.
Now that you know
There's no
all
baby
about
break
this,
there.
how many ounces does a 7-foot plant make?
Well, so it depends, so you can yield, depending on the plant, and how good you are, but a good plant,
Well, if it's
You'll
7 foot
yield-
tall, you're a pretty
you
good
can
grower.
yield 4 or 5 pounds.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Pounds.
I can't imagine going
One
through a
plant.
pound in a
And you
year.
can have 24 plants.
Right,
Good gravy.
that's a
They're gonna
lot.
sell
You
that
have
crap.
to-
They're selling it.
You
It's
won't
crazy.
be awake to keep.
And now you
to take care
understand
of
why
That's
it's sold.
That's an issue of the voters not knowing what they were voting for
Oh,
when they
they
approved
knew
this
full
crap.
well what they were.
I would guess the plants that I
Right.
personally saw would take up the area of those 6 chairs, each plant. Would you?
Pretty close.
I mean, in a circle, not.
Yeah, pretty close, and about that tall.
And about that tall, that's right. And I'm telling you, you could see the THC
Crazy.
glistening on the.
Oh, yeah.
You walk by
can.
it,
The
you're
oil,
drunk.
the oil just
Yeah.
shines,
Oh,
it
it's just
reflects.
amazing.
Does it really?
It's like it's been sprayed with water.
Really?
Yeah, and they were close to being harvested, I mean, they were.
Yeah, the folks that were doing, they're very good at growing it, they know what they're doing.
Now, I don't think the average person could probably get that typically, but I don't know.
A little practice,
Just-
right?
Yeah, but there was a lot of money tied up.
Because there's
in
a
that.
lot of information out there now about how to grow and to be successful and all this stuff.
So, I guess I would offer up a suggestion to my fellow commissioners that we put this on an agenda and have Mr. Byerly come and present a case to us. I don't know that we have to wait for Silver Cliff and West Cliff.
We can have
Well, I just think that we have, and Mr. Smith can offer his thoughts, and I just think that if you do it collaboratively,
Do it all at
that
the
way,
same
the
time.
verbiage is pretty close to,
Yeah, you don't.
and the numbers the same and all that, so now.
So who would
In
work-
all fairness to citizens, if you live in West Cliff and then you move up to Silver Cliff, or you move 2 blocks away and now all of a sudden you're in Silver
Right.
Cliff, if it's not the
Right.
same, then you get him
Who
done.
would you?
and that's
Who should get together from the 2 towns, Clint? Would it be you and to come up with some
Well,
and shit?
if Shannon can find me something that's been used by other counties, just the starting point, then I'd say, that Jay can take it and talk to the town and see.
Yeah. And who would
But
sell
I'm
it?
happy to take the lead on putting something together. It's probably gonna be very similar to what's already out there, and
But you ought to have a discussion with the guys
Oh,
before we
yeah.
come
And
in
if
to
it's-
ratify something.
if it's great, then I'll.
Yeah, I was just
contact him
thinking
also.
more along, why don't we take the lead and get the ball rolling and include those municipalities? Maybe we all 3 adopt it in the same time frame. But somebody's gotta take the lead and get the thing going, so.
And I'm
Why
happy
not?
to do it. As soon as you can give me something to,
Yeah,
as a starting
I'll work
point,
on it.
I'll contact that.
And really,
Jamie's
it's
been
from
contacted.
24 to, if we chose 12, we could do 24 to
Yeah, you can
18.
do whatever that number is.
But
Yeah, whatever you choose.
I would think 12 would be a number to start with.
Sure.
Commissioner
Well,
Prince?
Such a hard
So, yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's a good idea. So, I would support that. Good, other public comment?
I
Yes,
would
ma'am.
like to say that I have seen birds organizing with little signs out here. I don't know that it's gonna go out to the street level where people can see, but I'm thinking that there may be a coming protest.
Okay, let me tell you who was responsible for that and failed. That's
Just
why I'm
saying.
taking this as a personal affront. I was supposed to build the bird feeder. I don't even know where the bird feed is. But I will look, because
There are no
I
signs.
know that is empty.
And it's,
It's a personal affront, huh?
Yeah, personal affront. Not an attack. Yeah. And as you probably know, but you may not, our flag will remain at half-staff 30 days subsequent to Mr. Bush's passing. So
Yeah.
that's federal request is at 30 days. So we are at half-staff and will continue to be that for the next 26 days, I believe. Anything else, gentlemen? Public comment? Any other public comment? Yes.
What is our stance, or what are we going to do anything, or are we gonna review or suggest the Werfno code enforcement policy? Are we gonna continue thinking about one?
We gotta look at it. And
Yeah, that's something I'm just getting started on.
We need to get serious.
That was
That's
just
down the road.
Yeah,
That's something we can
Is
look
that
at.
read
it's something to work with Jackie and see if we can somehow get the sheriff some of the things involved there
Okay.
also.
I just wasn't sure where the status of that was.
And we do have an ordinance on tomorrow for review that if it ultimately passes, then Shannon's involved in enforcing it, so I don't know if you've seen that or not yet, Shannon. But it's
I
just the
don't-
beginning tomorrow.
Okay.
So
I
Bradley
know
can
it's
send
on
it
the-
to you.
I know it's on
On
the agenda, and I do believe Brenda sent it to me.
Okay. Yeah, I started in on the sample document from Werfno County, but didn't get very far before I got interrupted, so.
Yeah. Well, that's a project that would take several months, and at least would be my anticipation to put something together for possibly regulating some of what we are commonly called public nuisances, and also, I need to have a private conversation with Shannon to see. I know it's frustrated on the inability of getting any kind of forfeiture actions going against some property, so we'll talk to him about that as well.
Yeah, I did some more looking into it too, so.
I would love to see that come before the commissioners if and when it's appropriate, because I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
Just
Yes, sir.
one other thing, if I may, just kind of separate. The gentleman that we've had multiple communication with, I forwarded you multiple more emails to that.
Yeah.
I just, is there any action that we need to worry about?
No, and I
I'm
just.
fine with the stance we're taking.
He shared one with me today that his office has got. It seems to me like our strategy of not responding at all, not acknowledging we've received anything, seems to be working. I mean, he had threatened to he was on the verge of, was gonna be filing new civil rights complaints against the sheriff. That hasn't happened yet. I think he's puzzled and frustrated that he hasn't gotten any response out of this, and that's why I keep doing it that way, as long as it seems to work that way. Just, I save them all, but I don't read through them.
I was on the phone for 20 minutes today with the Civil Rights Commission over investigation with him against one of our business owners here in the county.
That one's still going on.
And they know Mr. Howard. I was doing I should have mentioned his name, but they know him, so.
I've probably had 4 or 5 in the last week, I think I've
Oh.
forwarded to
Yeah,
you.
and
He's already started attacking people who isn't even sworn in as the sheriff in Fremont County. He's already going after him.
Yeah, so, but unless he actually takes some kind of formal action, I don't wanna do anything, and we just keep ignoring
I
it.
agree. People
Okay, thank you.
I think the one that he has going against the local
Resolution.
businessman, that guy is gonna eventually
Yeah,
wanna fight back.
Do we want to attach
And
this
hold him in
to
court.
your work show, or?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you your paper clip back as well.
Oh, and my sign here.
Oh,
Like,
gosh, yeah.
I got, we're on a budget here.
Sorry.
Oh, well,
Paper clips are expensive.
Yeah, that map is gonna go on the back of the resolution. It was on this one that we didn't sign because of the wording, so we changed it. Okay, further comment? Hello, Mrs. Riggs.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Given that, I move we adjourn
Is there a second?
for Arlie's sake.
I'll second.
Been
Oh,
moved and
Arlie.
seconded. Yeah, been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Miss Kelly.